From Radio Iowa Sports, this is the Scouting Report, an in-depth look at this week's prep and college games. Now from our studios in Des Moines, Todd Kim.
The Hawkeyes open Big Ten play with a Friday night game at Rutgers. The Panthers close non-conference action at Utah Tech, while Drake visits nationally ranked South Dakota. And district play heats up with Week 4 of the high school season. That and more on the Scouting Report.
Okay, gotta be late. Gotta go. Where'd I put... wallet. Check. And, phone. Check. Keys. Check. Lunch. Check.
Checking for the things you need doesn't take long. But what about checking for your safety? Right now, 1 in every 5 vehicles on the road has an open safety recall. But it only takes seconds to check for open recalls on your car at checktoprotect.org. All you need is your vehicle identification number or license plate number. Your automaker may not have the right information to notify you about recalls by mail, especially if you recently moved or drive an older or used car. Checktoprotect.org is the quick, easy way to find out if your vehicle has an open safety recall and find the closest dealer who can make the repair for free.
Laptop. Check.
Before you go, take a minute. Visit checktoprotect.org. Check to Protect is a program of the National Safety Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
As the Iowa Hawkeyes get ready for tonight's Big Ten opener at Rutgers, there are a couple of areas they've tried to shore up. In last week's win over UMass, the Hawkeyes misfired on a PAT, a short field goal, and had a punt block. Combine that with an offense that's not been able to create big plays, and those miscues will be tough to overcome in Big Ten play, especially on the road. In their first road game at Iowa State, it took the offense a quarter and a half before it could even put together a scoring drive. Coach Kirk Ferentz says they'll need to do a better job of adjusting if they get looks from the Rutgers defense they were not expecting.
That's where you got to figure it out, and then boom, they give you a couple curveballs. So that's part of the cat and mouse that goes on during the course of a game, obviously, and if you don't have a system, it's got... Second stint at
Rutgers, Coach Greg Schiano has the Scarlet Knights off to a 3-0 start. It's a blackout tonight, and Schiano hopes the home field will be an advantage.
Going to be a great atmosphere Friday night, beautiful day predicted, beautiful evening. Blackout, we need our fans for sure. It's going to be a huge part of our opportunity to win that football game is that our home field advantage. So definitely need our fans.
It's the 5th all-time meeting in the series. The Hawkeyes have won the previous 4. UNI coach Todd Stepsis has tried to tell his players all week not to look at Utah Tech's record as they get ready for tomorrow's road game. The Trailblazers are 0-3. The losses, though, have come to 3 rated foes in UC Davis, Northern Arizona, and Idaho. Stepsis is confident the Panthers know they face a tough challenge.
You don't take anything for granted. You appreciate every opportunity to play the game, but then, hey, it wasn't too long ago where we had lost a lot of games in a row. And so, I think that you've talked to a lot of our guys who are on the team, this past season. They're probably going to say the same thing. We're like, hey, we weren't a bad team. We just didn't have things go our way. We had opportunities to stay in games or maybe even win games, and it didn't happen for us.
The Panthers are 2-1. Drake has another tough road test tomorrow as they visit 15th ranked South Dakota. The Bulldogs are coming off a 37-21 loss at 2nd ranked South Dakota State. High school football's next on the Scouting Report.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose.
Play shifts into high gear in the smaller classes. 2A top-ranked Kemper Catholic opens District 2 by hosting number 9 OABCIG. Emmett Kinney has a preview.
It's homecoming week for the Knights, who come into the game with a 3-0 record and an explosive offense, scoring over 40 points in every game so far this season. But head coach Ryan Steinkamp says the prior games don't mean anything now with district play starting.
The prior games are great, but they don't mean anything now, because everybody's in the same spot, and it's just it's just a great opportunity for guys like, hey, let's go play our best football now, one week at a time, and it's just not look ahead, just focus on what's coming up in front of us Friday night.
The OABCIG Falcons come into this game off of a loss where they had 4 turnovers and have been dealing with the turnover bug so far this season. Head coach Larry Allen mentions the importance of ball security and overall playing a clean game to not allow Kemper Catholic to have easy opportunities for points.
We can't afford to give the ball away, period. In a game like this with a quality opponent like we have, every turnover, every possession is going to be crucial. So you sure don't want to give ones away if you can avoid it.
It'll be the first meeting between these two teams since 2019 and will be an exciting matchup to open up district play. From Carroll for the Radio Iowa Scouting Report and KDSN Sports, I'm Emmett Kenny.
Also in Class 2A, it's second-ranked Van Meter visiting third-ranked Woodward Granger. Fourth-ranked Osage is at home against North Fayette Valley. 1A tonight, top-ranked Grundy Center hosts Garner Hayfield Ventura. It's second-ranked West Lyon at Alta Aurelia. Third-ranked Regina Catholic visits Cardinal. Class A, top-ranked West Hancock hosts BCLUW. It's number 2 St. Ansgar at home against Newman Catholic. Third-ranked MMCRU is at Sioux Central. 8-player District 9, fifth-ranked Audubon's on the road to take on 2-1 Cam. Chris Varney reports.
Senior Carson Wessel of Audubon was banged up in the first 2 weeks, but he had 128 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns last week, plus a pick 6. He says this game with Cam is a big one.
Last year, beating them at, I think it was their place, really set the tone for the rivalry and how far back it goes. And I feel comfortable and I have trust in our guys, and we're pretty physical and big, and our scheme from our coaches, and our coaches really set us up for success.
Senior Colin Bauer leads Cam in rushing, receiving, and tackles for a loss. The Cougars are coming off a 50-48 win over Bedford, and he says if this is a physical game, Audubon will be in trouble.
For us to get a win, I think we gotta hound them like we did Bedford. We thought Bedford they were big guys. I think Audubon's big guys, but the bigger they are, the bigger they fall.
Number 5 Audubon is 3-0. Unranked Cam 2-1. For the Scouting Report, I'm Chris Varney.
Also an 8-player, top-ranked Bishop Garrigan is on the road at St. Edmond. This season, Bex is recognizing student athletes that are not only a star in athletics, but a player that shows heart in school, at work, through the community, and in the ag industry. Bo Burns of BGM has helped a local farmer with his cattle herd and has had some memorable experiences.
One of the times I helped him, we castrated cows, so that was a new experience for sure.
Audubon's Lane Elmquist enjoys showing livestock and also mentors kids who are interested in the livestock industry.
They're just trying to learn the basics, and I can go help them and teach them some stuff that I know, and just try to get them to more people into the livestock industry, because it's an industry that's not, I think that more people need to be involved in it, and it's something that I love, so it's always fun to go and teach other younger kids about it.
Logan Gardner of Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont is a 3-sport athlete, and he's also a member of the school's decorated marching band.
Football really comes after school, while marching band comes in the morning, so they don't really clash much. Our bands had multiple Division I readings over the past, I think we were on to our 13th year in a row or something like that.
Cascade's Hallie Kelchin is heavily involved on her family farm and even started her own cattle herd.
Me and my brother mostly run the harvest in the fall. That's usually my dad's busy time, so I'm usually the grain cart operator. I'm usually the main one to help with calving. Most of my siblings in college, I kind of help my dad take over as his busy seasons are fall and spring. So I'm pretty involved with the cattle and the crop side of agriculture.
Nominate a student athlete by searching Beck's Player with Heart. The rest of Week 4 is next on the Scouting Report.
Every day, farmers rise before the sun and put everything they have into a job so few can do. Their courage, resilience, and relentless work shape the legacies and future of our country. At Beck's, we're proud to stand alongside those who don't wait to see what the world will do. They act. They lead. They are the difference. Beck's honors your commitment to your land, family, and purpose. And while we can't predict what the future holds, there is one thing we can do to change it, and that's be the difference, right now, in every decision and every season.
At Beck's, we believe that true champions are not just made on the field, but also in the heart. The Beck's Player with Heart Scholarship celebrates high school student athletes who show dedication, teamwork, and leadership, both in sports and in their communities. We're honoring those who go above and beyond, demonstrating passion, perseverance, and a commitment to making a difference. Nominate a high school student athlete by searching Beck's Player with Heart.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
A championship game rematch highlights tonight's action in Class 4A as second-ranked Pella hosts third-ranked and defending champion North Polk. Pella's defense has given up only 13 points and just 45 yards of rushing per game in a 3-0 start. Coach Ben Bollard says that defense will be tested by North Polk senior quarterback James Armstrong. He has 684 yards of passing and also is a run threat.
He really runs the offense well. You know, a lot of RPO stuff, a lot of read stuff. And so he's a kid who is talented, and if you get kind of misaligned, he'll find that hole in your defense. And so that'll really challenge us that all 11 guys have to be where they need to.
Also in 4A, 8th-ranked Gilbert's on the road to play Webster City. Quinn Douglas has a preview.
Gilbert enters Week 4 with a 3-0 record following a 2024 season that saw the Tigers win their first district title since 2015. Head coach Graham Lunt says his program's emphasis on toughness and option football came out of necessity.
We knew that schematically we need to have a little advantage, and everything comes down to the trenches on the O and the D line. And so we knew we'd see teams that platoon maybe a little bit more, and we knew we'd see teams that physically might be a little bit bigger. And so that allows us to be in a little bit more control. And then because it is unique.
Webster City is coming off a 47-7 loss against 3A top-ranked Clear Lake last Friday. But Coach Andy Brim says the effort never lacked in the loss.
I was really proud of how our kids responded throughout that game. You know, when things don't go your way that quickly and that early in a game, it's really easy to for lack of a better term, quit. And I don't think that our kids really ever did.
For the Radio Iowa Scouting Report and KQWC, this is Quinn Douglas.
Also in 4A, top-ranked Cedar Rapids Xavier is at Williamsburg. 3A, number 8 Wahlert Catholic pays a visit to unbeaten West Delaware. John Swisher reports.
It'll be the first true test of the season for the West Delaware Hawks when they welcome in the Dubuque-Wahlert Catholic Golden Eagles to Brownfield in Manchester tonight. West Delaware, one of 63 unbeaten teams in the state as we enter Week 4 play, one of 10 in Class 3A. Wahlert Catholic, the defending state champion, is 2-1 with wins over Western Dubuque and Anamosa, falling last week at home in overtime against Decorah 19-13. The Hawks' 3 W's have come against Marion at home and North Fayette Valley and Waukon on the road. Those defensive efforts for the Hawks have resulted in the number 1 ranking right now, only averaging 4 points a game, while the offense has tallied 37 points a contest. The Golden Eagles are 3rd in Class 3A defense, only giving up 13 points a game with 1 shutout as well. It'll be the 11th meeting in the series that started back in 2014, with the Hawks leading 6-4. But Wahlert Catholic has won the last 3 contests in the last 3 consecutive years, the last 2 by a combined total of just 4 points, including last year a 17-14 home win at the Rock Bowl. For the Scouting Report, John Swisher, KMCH Sports, Manchester.
Also in 3A, 7th-ranked Nevada closes out non-district play by hosting top-ranked Clear Lake. Nevada coach Andy Kleeman says run defense has been the strength for the Cubs, but that defense will be tested tonight by the Lions.
The quarterback is certainly a threat in the run game, and they got other guys too that can do that as well. But you know, the big play certainly concerns me. That's something that we gave up Week 2, and that's something that we can't give up against this team.
There are 2 rated matchups in Class 5A tonight. One of them finds 4th-ranked Dowling Catholic hosting number 5 Southeast Polk. The other has 6th-ranked Ankeny taking on crosstown rival and number 9 Ankeny Centennial. That's all for the Scouting Report. For Radio Iowa Sports, I'm Todd Kiel.
It's Football Friday night, which means it's the Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday night tailgate show. Sports Director Tyler Lance will talk to the coaches from West Bend Mallard and North Union about tonight's matchups. Here's Tyler with all the details from inside the locker room.
It's another high school football Friday night here on Hometown and Home Country Radio. I'm Tyler Lance, bringing you tonight's Friday night tailgate show. For the North Union Warriors and head coach Matt Ernster, it's a little adversity for this team as after a 2-0 start to the season, they dropped a tough one, 46-42 last week against Riceville, and it does not get easier this week. Big non-district game against 3-0 GTRA, a playoff team from a season ago. We'll talk with Coach Ernster about bouncing back from last week's loss and a tough matchup this week. Meanwhile, for the West Bend Mallard Wolverines, they got on the board for a win last week against Northwood Kensett. They will travel to North Iowa this week for another big district game. We'll talk with Coach Tyson Wartz about that key matchup. All coming up next on your Friday night tailgate show.
The Homestead Country Store invites you to stop by their location at 203 South Broadway Avenue in West Bend, where you're sure to find all your favorite candies and snacks. Let's not forget the ice cream. Do you need syrup for your pancakes or waffles? Check out their New York syrup. Homestead Country Store has a wide variety of supplies from King Arthur brand all-purpose and wheat flour to spices and herbs for your canning supplies. From our homestead to yours, you'll find what you need at the Homestead Country Store in downtown West Bend.
And the Friday Night Tailgate Show continues right now on Hometown at Home Country Radio as we're joined by North Union football coach Matt Ernster. Coach, it's always great to talk to you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, Coach, it was a tough one this past week for the Warriors as they came out on the wrong end of a 46-42 game against Riceville. Take us through Friday night against Riceville. Obviously, kind of wild, high-scoring game there, but what were some of your biggest takeaways and key factors coming out of last Friday night?
Yeah, it was a tough one. We kind of talked about having to get off to good starts, and we've done that in the first 2 weeks, and we struggled to do that Friday night, giving up a turnover and kind of putting ourselves in a hole right away. I thought we did a good job for the most part of responding to different things and trying to get scores. We just couldn't get enough stops. Defensively, we just struggled with the edges all night. We kind of gave them some things as far as the turnovers. I felt like were kind of giveaways on our part more than anything else, and it's a blown coverage on defense, giving up a big play. But you got to tip your cap to them too. I mean, they came in and really hungry for a win, played extremely hard, physical, and forced us into doing a lot of things that we didn't want to do. And we had an opportunity there at the end of the game to kind of get one in and take the lead, and we just couldn't get it done. So it's a tough pill to swallow. Hopefully it's a learning experience for our kids going forward the rest of the year.
And, Coach, of course, a big aspect of success for any football team is how they can respond to adversity. What do you feel goes into being a mentally tough team and responding the way they need to this week?
Yeah, just trying to put that one into the rearview mirror as much as we can, at least the feelings of it, taking, from film and different things that we saw and learning from those things and being better in different aspects of the game. I think that's going to be kind of the sign of it, whether we can handle the adversity. Throughout practice this week, we've done a good job of kind of putting that in the past, and we won't really know, I guess, fully until we get out there again. But it feels like we're doing the right things as far as trying to battle through this.
We're talking right now with North Union football coach Matt Ernster. Coach, this week it's on to GTRA, and looking at them, we'll start with the Titans offense. They're a pretty experienced and explosive group on that end of the field, so what are you expecting their offense to throw at you on Friday night?
A lot. I mean, like you said, experienced, explosive, definitely a good word to describe them. The quarterback, first-year starter, but a guy that we've seen, in different sports and in JV playing them the past couple of years. He's a very good football player, very good quarterback, throws a great ball, and does a great job of being accurate and getting his guys the ball in space and letting them work. And the Schnell kid had a fantastic year last year, and he's been great throughout his varsity career. And he's on a different level right now too, playing well. And they've just got other guys that have stepped in and done really well. And like you said, that explosiveness, the speed that they have, and the time that they give him. We know it's going to be a big challenge to kind of shut that unit down.
And, Coach, on defense, GTRA comes off a shutout against Newell Fonda. What do you feel they're going to be doing against you on Friday night to try to slow down your guys' attack?
Yeah, I'm sure they're looking at the Riceville stuff. I think one thing that they do really well is, they're very aggressive. They get off the ball really well. Their linebackers tackle well in space, and they play those two deep safeties. They just don't let anything really get over the top on you. So they really want to kind of condense you down and force you into kind of playing the dink and dunk game in the pass game and trying to grind it out. And so I'm sure that'll be kind of the MO with it, looking at some of the things that Riceville was able to do to us in that aspect. And so we're just going to kind of have to, be patient. And when opportunities come to make plays, we're going to have to really take advantage of it and make those this week.
Coach, wrapping up the interview, what do you see as one or two of the biggest keys this week for a North Union victory?
Yeah, I think every week for us it's getting off to a good start. I think that's such a big part of kind of our psyche and our team is if we can do things well early on, it feels like the game kind of flows better for us. So finding ways to do that early on, understanding that they might get some on offense like we talked about, but kind of limiting that. If we can limit some of the big plays and make them go 10, 12, 14 plays to score. I like that for us as well. On offense, I think we got to play mistake-free as far as turnovers, and we have to be able to establish the run game and control the clock and limit their opportunities.
Coach, we appreciate your time today on the Tailgate Show and wish you best of luck on Friday night against GTRA.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That's North Union head coach Matt Ernster on your Friday night Tailgate Show. When we come back, we'll chat with West Bend Mallard head coach Tyson Wartz on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Raw Customs in West Bend is committed to becoming your go-to shop for any of your vehicle's customization needs. That means offering accessories and services whether you're touring the city or tearing up the trail. You need to be confident that your accessories can keep up. They offer durable, top-of-the-line quality products at affordable prices. Follow them on Facebook or call Raw Customs in West Bend today at 515-887-2800.
And it's the Friday Night Tailgate Show right now on Hometown and Home Country Radio as we're talking at West Bend Mallard Wolverine football with head coach Tyson Wartz. Coach, a happy Friday to you, and as always, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having us on. It's always a pleasure.
Coach, before we talk about this week's matchup, let's revisit last week for those who missed it. The Wolverines improved the record to 1-1 as you guys defeated Northwood Kensett 31-14 and got that first district win on the board. Take us through that game a little bit again. Now you had a chance to kind of break down the film of that one. What were some of the biggest deciding factors and things the Wolverines did right in that game?
Yeah, the biggest thing defensively, we kept them out of the end zone. I mean, they marched down the field, but we held them in the red zone several times. That was huge for us. They kind of got chipped away at us here and there, but I felt like we never broke at the end of drives, so that kind of kept us able to run the offense the way we wanted to. And then offensively, we finally got back to kind of running the ball physically, whether it's between the tackles, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's tailback, fullback, whatever it is. So I felt like we kind of got back to what we like our identity to be, and that's why we were able to be successful.
And, Coach, a guy that we knew was going to be an impact player this season and one who really stuck out in the box score from that game last Friday night was Layden Grimm. He ends up finishing with 16 tackles in that game, and, of course, part of that is his nose for the football. Part of that is the guys on the defensive line eating some blocks in front of him. But overall, really good game for Layden Grimm. Can you speak to the sort of impact that he had on the outcome in that one?
Yeah, he's huge. He's all over the place, and he got himself caught in some situations a couple times where he was out of position, but he's one of those kids that is amazing to coach because if he messes up, he knows he messed up, he comes over, he says he's going to fix it, he apologizes. It's never an excuse. It's never anybody else's fault. He just says, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to get better, and you can tell he does that. He's a huge leader for us on the defensive side of the ball. And you hit the nail on the head, too. The D-line really kind of eats it up. We've had some D-linemen inside, especially this week, that had to eat up multiple blocks and did a really nice job leaving him open in space so that he could then come finish the tackles.
We're talking West Bend Mallard football with head coach Tyson Wartz. Coach, this week another big district game as you guys head to North Iowa in this matchup. What have been some of the biggest things that have jumped out to you scouting the Bison this week?
Yeah, the North Iowa, a lot of years, I feel like they tend to have some really good athletes on their squad, and this year's not an exception. They got a quarterback that isn't afraid to get to the outside and scramble and take off and run, and so it's definitely been a highlight this week in practice to keep our contain and make sure that he has to stay inside the tackle box as much as we can. Good receivers on the edge, too, that can get open in space. And so, yeah, it's really kind of been the focus of us this week is they will run the ball, obviously, like anybody does, but trying to contain the athletic team that's in front of us.
And, Coach, you mentioned a couple of big things there for North Iowa. It's a mobile quarterback who can extend plays. They'll put the ball in the air a little bit more to some pretty athletic guys on the outside. So I guess how much pressure does it put on your guys' secondary today, and what do they kind of need to do to make sure that they keep the North Iowa passing game bottled up?
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure on the secondary. We're getting back to the Grettinger game where we let up quite a few yards through the air, and we've cleaned up a lot of that stuff in practice. We've had now 3 weeks because of the bye week in there to work on that stuff. So I think they've buttoned things up a lot. And then also getting pressure up front. We've got to have our D-line's got to get pressure on the quarterback. If we're sending linebackers, they need to get pressure on the quarterback. We can't give him all day to throw it because regardless of how good the secondary does, it just gets to be a certain point where a guy's going to work himself open. So we have to get that pressure up front.
And, Coach, on the other side of the football, the Wolverines made an offensive improvement from the first game of the season to the second game of the season. As you head now into game number 3, what's the next step forward you want to see your guys' offense take?
Well, the biggest thing we got to work on is our turnovers. We've got to button this up. We've had too many turnovers in both games. We always say when you lose the turnover battle, it's hard to win the game, and fortunately we were able to still win last Friday, but it felt like a game that we should have been able to put more points up if we would have held on to the ball. So that's first and foremost. And then secondarily, it's getting guys on their assignments, and we saw that too improve last week. We've got sophomores playing in several spots. We've got freshmen playing in spots, and so it's been a learning curve for them to figure out, get to varsity speed and be able to get to your correct blocking assignments. And there's been an immense improvement over the last 3 weeks from those guys, so that's what we really want to look for, is cleaning up the turnovers and staying on assignment blocking.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time today on the Tailgate Show and wish you best of luck tonight against North Iowa.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
West Bend Mallard head coach Tyson Wartz with his thoughts on tonight's Friday Night Tailgate Show, as that'll wrap it up for this week's program. Pre-game coverage of your matchup is coming up next on KLGA and KLGZ.
It's time to hit the field. That's it for Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday Night Tailgate Show.
Get ready for football with the Garrigan Golden Bear pregame show. Brought to you by your Edward Jones representatives Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. We've got interviews with coaches, the starting lineups, Kimnaw Auto Center's keys to the game, the Grassmasters field conditions report, Algona Plumbing and Heating's game time temperature, Eyes on Thornton's coin toss, and more as we preview tonight's matchup. The pregame is also brought to you by Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare, JDR Seeds of Wesley, Tom Eishin Sales, your store in the country, Banwork Trucking of Odison, Cook's Scrap Iron and Metal, family owned since 1913, and Algona Feed Store, livestock, dog, and cat food. Here's Tyler Lance on the Golden Bear Edward Jones pregame show.
It's the latest chapter in a historic football rivalry that dates back to the 1959 season, as tonight, the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears head south on Highway 169 to take on the St. Edmond Gales in 8-player non-district action. The 3-0 Golden Bears have put on a tour de force so far this season, winning their 3 games by an average of 52 points. They'll take on the 2-1 St. Edmond Gales, who are 1 play away from being 3-0 on the season in the latest chapter in a historic rivalry. Well, both these teams had a long-standing rivalry, of course, in 11-man football. Then they went down to 8-man at the exact same year. St. Edmond had the early advantage. They won the first 3 8-man matchups between these two schools. Last year, Bishop Garrigan turned it around, winning the season opening game 48-22 over St. Edmond, and this time they'll try to do it here in Fort Dodge tonight. Meanwhile, for the Gales, they are 2-1 as I mentioned on the season, but that week 1 loss was a 22-20 heartbreaker against Glidden Ralston. St. Edmond lost on a 38-yard Hail Mary plus a 2-point conversion to win the game in that one. So the Gales, like I said, they are 1 play away from being 3-0. They were a playoff team last year. The Gales were losing in the first round, and they're looking to go even further this year. They'll get a big test tonight and a chance to make a statement against the number 1 ranked Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. We'll get to the pregame show talking with Bishop Garrigan head coach Marty Wadley and St. Edmond head coach Matt Dillon. They're coming up next on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
You shouldn't need an advanced degree to figure out how to pay for one. Hi, I'm Brady Ross, your Algona Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help you understand all the options you have when paying for an education. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college or planning for a grandchild to build on a legacy that goes back generations, let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cooks for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cooks will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cooks Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Is your student athlete on the injured list? We can help. This is Wendy Wagner, Physical Therapy Assistant at Kasuth Regional Health Center. As a former student athlete and coach, I want to help you get back in the game feeling healthy and injury-free. Our staff works closely with local healthcare providers and specialists throughout the area for a recovery plan that works for you. Best of luck to all our area athletes this season. We will be cheering for you.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
get ready for high school football action right now on Home Country Radio KLGZ as we're joined on the pregame by Bishop Garrigan head coach Marty Wadley. Coach, as always, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Well, Coach, the Golden Bears come off a big 70-6 homecoming win over North Iowa. Now that you've had a few days to kind of separate yourself from that game, look at a little film, what are a couple of your biggest takeaways from Friday night and some of the things that your guys were able to do to move to 3-0?
I thought we played very physical. Once again, physical on both sides of the offensive and defensive line, and I thought we played very physical. Our kids, I thought, did one of our better jobs of getting to the ball as a group on defense and getting there, in a hurry and getting there with some vengeance when they got there. So we still need to work on some tackling things. But I thought those were key points, and being able to run the football and stop the run are always big things for us if we're able to do that.
Coach, let's talk about running the football on offense, because obviously everything's going to start there. So far for 3 games, you guys are over 800 yards on the ground, and of course every year there's going to be a few new faces in different positions, but with that being said, still a lot of production so far early in this season. As you look at your ground game so far and the different guys who've contributed to it, I guess A, how would you evaluate that, and then B, when you try to develop this into a championship level ground game, where do you still feel the team has to go with that?
I think we still have some things to do with our backs, just as far as reading the correct things all the time, and we still have some things to do up front with our zone scheme that we're working on, and still not where we need to be yet with it. So those are big things. We've involved the quarterback some, but not a ton, and he obviously can be involved a lot more in our run game if we need to, or if we feel that we not necessarily need to, but just to get more answers that the defense is going to have to come up with. So those are all good things and all things that we're happy about. But, number one, keep working at what we're doing day in and day out and get better at it and show improvement. So that's something we're really concerned with daily, just getting better at. And I think our backs are becoming more comfortable. And Ethan, obviously, the tailback spot's much different than the fullback spot in our offense. But I think he's made some gains in that area, and thought he ran the ball well the other night.
We're talking Bishop Garrigan football right now with head coach Marty Wadley. Coach, this week you continue your long-standing football rivalry for the St. Edmond Gales. Obviously, you've been a part of this game for a long time, as have a lot of generations of Golden Bear and Gale players over the years. So, from your perspective, what makes Bishop Garrigan versus St. Edmond significant?
Well, there are 2 schools that are very close together. We're both in the same diocese. Both Catholic schools that have a long tradition of their school and of their athletics, and that makes a big part of it. And, I don't think there's a hatred there, but I do think there's definitely a rivalry, and with what they've done and with what Coach Ty did there for those years when he was there, and what Coach Dillon's done now has improved that. Both good legendary coaches and have done great jobs with the programs.
Coach, as you've had a chance here to look a little bit at St. Edmond and what they've done so far for the first 3 weeks, what have been a few things that pop out to you about the Gales on film?
They do a good job with what they do. They run a wing tee concept, but obviously 11 player, it's a little bit different. They run a pin and pull concept with their linemen, so they like to get 2 guys at the point of attack, pulling if they can, and pin everybody else down, and they do a good job of that, and they throw the ball off of play action pretty well. So, they like to get to the outside when they can. And they have good speed. They have guys who state track guys, and they run pretty well. So those are obviously going to be a concern of ours.
And, Coach, obviously, like you said, some good weapons and some good schemes for the St. Edmond offense. When you look at their skill position group and some of the challenges they present for your defense in this one, what are some big things for you defensively that you need to do to keep St. Edmond contained this week?
Really work on what they're trying to do when they try and get the ball to the outside and to the edge, and make sure that we establish that pretty well. And again, reading our keys, not getting our eyes in the backfield. Good job of penetration with our defensive line. We don't want to be too deep, but when anytime you have a bunch of pullers, any type of penetration by the defensive line is a benefit for the defense, because they can throw things off. So we need to make sure we do that and watch our flow. When flow goes away on the backside, we need to step away and just wait for counters or anything like that coming back, because eventually it's going to come back.
Coach, wrapping up the interview for this week, what do you see as the number one key for a Golden Bear win in this game?
We have to continue to be physical up front and do a good job up front on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, and make sure that that they don't have quick scores and big games and big plays and force them to go and grind the ball out against us and try and keep them from keep us from giving up big plays to them and big quick scoring plays that they can get done quickly, and they have the capability of doing that.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing this matchup as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears take on the St. Edmond Gales. As always, we appreciate your time today on the pregame show.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. Appreciate it.
That's Bishop Garrigan head coach Marty Wadley for his pregame thoughts. More of your Edward Jones pregame show coming up next on Home Country Radio KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. It's an act they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid, one thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillip Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
And high school football action is coming up next here on Home Country Radio KLGZ as the St. Edmond Gales take on the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. And we're joined on our pregame show by St. Edmond head coach Matt Dillon. Coach, first of all, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining us on the pregame.
Always enjoy it.
Well, Coach, it's a 2-1 start for St. Edmond for the first 3 weeks of the season. Obviously a heartbreaker for the team in week 1, but you guys bounced back for a couple of commanding wins the past 2 weeks, including a kind of unique situation this past week of the game, ending at halftime against Remsen St. Mary's. But overall, Coach, how would you evaluate what the guys have done for 3 weeks, especially with the way they've been able to respond after week 1?
Well, week one was a gut punch. You know, anytime you lose on a Hail Mary on the last play of the game, and those things are tough to overcome, but our guys rallied. We got after it really good in practice the last 2 weeks, and have had some really good outcomes. So we just got to keep trying to get better every single day.
And, Coach, the skill position guys on your team have been very impressive so far, and it seems like you guys have a variety of different weapons that you're able to use effectively on offense. How do you feel the different talents of your skill position guys sort of complement each other and help build this offense to what it is?
You know, and I think that's pretty crucial. People don't realize how crucial that is when you can have a diversity of talent and guys that are really good at one thing and other guys are really good at other things. So I really value that. I think it's really important for us to have that ability that we can spread the ball around both in the passing game and in the run game. The biggest thing that we have, you know, we're pretty young up front. We lost our starting center prior to the season. He's not back yet. We're hoping he'll be back at some point. But, you know, so we're literally playing a new starter in every one of those 3 positions up front. So those guys have to continue to improve to give us a chance in any game, regardless of who we're playing. But certainly against a team like Bishop Garrigan, with all the talent that they have up front in their offensive and defensive lines, and that just makes them tougher to defend from a defensive standpoint, and really makes it hard offensively when you're going against those really good defensive linemen as well.
And, Coach, it's been a good start to the season for your quarterback, Ethan Swisher, in year 2 as the starting quarterback for you guys. Have you seen his game evolve and take a step forward from year 1 as a starter to year 2?
You remember last year, his first start ever was against Garrigan down there, or up there, I guess, and it didn't go so well for him. He struggled a little bit, but he got better every single week, and that's all I said, listen, we're going to work to get better every week. By the end of the year, you're going to be really good, and he was. And now he's picked up on that. He's had a really good start to the season, and we're expecting big things out of him in this ball game against Garrigan.
We're talking right now with St. Edmond head coach Matt Dillon. Coach, has been a long-standing rivalry between you guys and Bishop Garrigan dating back several decades. Can you talk a little bit about what you feel makes this rivalry a significant one for both programs and both fan bases?
Well, you got two of the best Catholic school programs in the state going at it. You got the added thing with Coach Marty Wadley and myself going back all the way to the mid-'90s. I've known Marty for a long, long time. I consider him a good friend, and I'd like to think he thinks I'm a good friend of his too. But and that makes it kind of special. They go all the way back to my years at Dowling, starting in 1996. So, and I think that's the year he started up at Garrigan, if I'm not mistaken, or somewhere in that vicinity. And so, these teams have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, and I think that part of it is important. We're intertwined in a lot of different ways. Father Jake Rosenmeyer is now our chaplain. He had been the Garrigan chaplain for a number of years and a teacher there as well. There's just a lot of things that intertwine themselves. Go back to basketball season, played I think it was the sub-state final, where our boys were able to knock off your boys in that sub-state final. So it's not just football; it's all sports. And we got a number of kids that play at least 3 sports. I'm sure Garrigan does as well. And there's just a lot of things that mesh together, and it all comes out during football. And we're looking for a great contest. Hopefully, our guys will come out and play well. And knowing where Garrigan's at and their senior leadership and the guys that they have, they're going to be a tough out for sure. But we're going to show up, and we're going to play our tails off, and we'll see where it all ends up. And hopefully for us, it's a win. If not, the nice thing about it, it's not a district game, so it doesn't hurt us as far as the district race is concerned. And we're just going to come out and give it everything we got.
Coach, as always, great to talk to you today on the pregame show. We appreciate your time and wish you best of luck against Bishop Garrigan this week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
St. Edmond Gale head coach Matt Dillon with his pregame thoughts. When we come back, more of your Edward Jones pregame show on KLGZ, Home Country Radio, and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones Financial Advisors. Member SIPC.
Kasuth Regional Health Center is your home for recovery care. I'm occupational therapist Ben Krause, ready to help you with recovery care. We work with a wide range of patients, helping them get back to the task of daily living and doing the things they want to do. Come home to recover with Kasuth Regional Health Center. Find us online at krhc.com or call 295-2451.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cooks for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cooks will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cooks Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Back on your Friday evening here in Fort Dodge, Iowa, as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears get ready to take on the St. Edmond Gales on KLGZ, Home Country Radio, and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. The next step in our Edward Jones pregame show is to talk about the starting lineups for tonight's game, and we begin when the St. Edmond Gales are on offense and the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears are on defense. Offensively for St. Edmond, they have a cornucopia of options at the skill position, as a lot of options there, a returning quarterback from last season, and then the one question mark is 3 new starting offensive linemen, as you heard Coach Dillon talk about in the pregame, but around that offensive line, like we said, an experienced quarterback, an experienced skill position group as well. Taking a look at the starters, at the guard positions for St. Edmond, they will have the senior Coleman Hansen checking in at 5'10", 195, but also the 6', 205-pound guard, the sophomore Colton Feevold at the other guard position. Their center is Jacob Nealand, a 6'2", 265-pound junior. On the outside, St. Edmond has an electric wide receiver, one of the best in the 8-player class, Grant Gallus, who last season had 99 yards receiving against Bishop Garrigan and also returned a kickoff for a touchdown, as Gallus is a 6'1" receiver, senior on the outside. Their tight end, another senior, the 6', 180-pound Jacob Koopman. Wing back for St. Edmond, a senior as well, Kinnick Henning, a rushing and receiving threat wearing jersey number 22. Their tailback is Aaron Hint, who is a junior, thus far rushing for 169 yards on 5.6 yards per carry. The quarterback, Ethan Swisher, his second season as a starting quarterback for St. Edmond. The senior wears jersey number 16. He has thrown for 406 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 1 pick on the season. Meanwhile, for the Bishop Garrigan defense, it's led by their leading tackler and leading sack getter, Carter Schwab, as he's sacked the quarterback 3 times this season, recorded 12 tackles. He's a senior on the end position. Carter McGregor, a senior on the other end position as well, with Carson Kramer, the 6'4", 260-pound sophomore, anchoring things in the middle. Starting linebackers are the 6'2", 230-pound senior Ethan Marceau and the 6'1", 195-pound junior Matt Miller. In the secondary, you have C.J. McGregor, the sophomore wearing number 22, Michael Joyce, a junior corner for the Golden Bears, who has already picked off 3 passes this season, and Tate Furch at the other quarterback spot. He has 2 interceptions as well, the senior for the Golden Bears. Flipping things around when Bishop Garrigan has the ball on offense and St. Edmond is on defense. The Golden Bear offensive line, left guard Carter Schwab, right guard Nate Lear at 6'3", 265, and the center Caden Graves at 6', 215. Graves, a senior for the Golden Bears. Matt Miller's the tight end. You'll see Weston Rosenmeyer rotate in there as well. Michael Joyce is out wide for the Golden Bears. The starting quarterback, Tate Furch, 8 touchdown passes, no picks so far this season for the senior, while the tailback is Ethan Marceau with his 34 career rushing touchdowns. The fullback is another senior, Carter McGregor. For the St. Edmond defense, at the end positions, they'll have Coleman Hansen, a senior, and Blake Bartlett, a 6'1", 210-pound freshman at the other end. Their nose guard is the 5'8", 160-pound Kinnick Henning. Linebackers tonight for St. Edmond, the junior Aaron Hint, the senior Ethan Swisher, and the sophomore Colton Feevold. In the secondary, it's the senior Grant Gallus, the senior Jacob Koopman, and the junior Ty Miracle. That's a look at the starting lineups for tonight's game between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and their 3-0 record and the 2-1 St. Edmond Gales. We'll take a quick timeout. Coming up next, here come the Auto Center keys to the game right here on Home Country Radio, 98.5 FM and AM 1600.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare. Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keith, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eisen Sales. They stock and service steel products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Eisen Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. A snack they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid, one thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
At Kemna Auto Center, they understand that you have no shortage of options when it comes to purchasing or servicing your car. They're your hometown dealer for new GM, Ford, and Chrysler makes and models. Plus, they also offer an extensive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Serving you with a dedicated sales and finance team, along with world-class service technicians that are passionate about keeping your ride in top shape. Visit their showrooms today for an experience you deserve. Kemna Auto Center in Algona.
It's time for your Kemna Auto Center Keys to the Game. Kemna, an experience you deserve. Well, during the Keys to the Game, we talk about some of the biggest factors that could result in a victory for either the Golden Bears or the Gales. Maybe some players to watch as well. And our player to watch for tonight, our MVP, that is Beanie Bodie joining us here on the broadcast.
Hi,
Beanie,
Tyler.
another happy Friday night to you.
Oh, happy Friday. Fourth beautiful night for football. This team is a rabbit's foot on not only the coin tosses, but also on their weather. This high school football team is very fortunate thus far in the weather, huh?
It certainly is, and we'll see if that rain holds off tonight. I've got you standing outside the press box here tonight running our camera for the Golden Bears, but we'll talk about that plenty and the weather as the night goes on. We'll have the game time temperature coming up right before kickoff. But right now, it's your Kemna Auto Center Keys to the Game. Beanie, my key for the Golden Bears, it's something that football coaches have yelled at every defensive player at some point. You've got to set the edge. St. Edmond likes to get the ball to the outside. A lot of speedy skill position players on offense, and the Golden Bears, they're disciplined. They know how to do that, but an extra emphasis on that this week. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to set the edge. Don't let St. Edmond turn the corner on you on offense.
Boy, that's a great point, and I'm going to add on to that. I'm going to say whoever can control that ball for the most clock time. Bishop Garrigan likes to hold on to that ball, run the football, but they're more explosive this year offensively too, so you never know what game plan the Bears have, but I bet it is to control the tempo of this game, and like you said, now that the Gales get out and running, I think another key to the game, Tyler, is this is a significant home field advantage for the Gales. This is a turf field, of course, here at Dodger Stadium, but on the flip side, the Bears might be a little extra pumped up because this is a very nice field they're getting to play on tonight.
It certainly is. They have it taped off for the 8-man game, which we'll talk about that in our field condition report. But I'll give the final keys to the game as well, Beanie. You remember last year when these teams matched up, Grant Gallus ran the opening kickoff back for a touchdown. He later caught a 70-yard touchdown pass for St. Edmond. He wasn't a senior. He was just a junior, so he's back again. If you control the ball through the Golden Bears, control the time possession, you keep the ball out of Grant Gallus's hand that way. But you've got to keep an eye on where number 6 is at all times in this game. You can't let him have a huge night against you if you're Bishop Garrigan.
That's right. And I certainly haven't forgotten 2 years ago when the Bears won the state championship. This was the only blemish on their record. The first game of the season, I believe, they came down here to this stadium and got beat by St. Ed's. And if I remember it, I'm sure the coaches remember it, and probably a couple of those players down there as well.
Absolutely is. Those are our Kemna Auto Center Keys to the Game, brought to you by Kemna's, an experience you deserve. We have about 5 minutes left in our Edward Jones pregame show, as our pregame coverage here presented by your representatives Bruce Keefe, Mackenzie Jorgensen, Jerry Sokup, and Brady Ross. Players are lining up down on the field right now as these starting lineups are being introduced. We will take a timeout, of course, when the national anthem arrives. We'll also get to that Grassmasters field condition report. It's all coming up here on KLGZ 98.5 FM and AM 1600.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eisen Sales. They stock and service still products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Eisen Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Grassmasters, we believe the secret to a successful season is hard work and dedication, the same qualities that make up a winning team. Preparation, perseverance, and teamwork have enabled us to rise above the competition and bring you a championship team. So as this year kicks off, we at Grassmasters would like to wish all of the local athletes the very best and a successful season on and off the field. Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
It's time for your Grassmasters Field Condition Report, brought to you by Grassmasters, the area's premier lawn care and tree care provider. With all the rain we've had lately, this could have been a moist game if we were playing on natural grass, but we're on turf tonight, so the field is going to be in great shape here for this one. We'll talk about that more coming up here in just a moment, but right now, National Anthem is coming up. We'll break for a timeout and get more into that Field Condition Report after this on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
With fall starting, so is seasonal allergies. This is Dr. John C. Kortenberg at Eyes on Thorrington. Do your eyes itch? Are they irritated or watering? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you may benefit from a prescription for your ocular allergies. Why not feel better today? Call to schedule an appointment at Eyes on Thorrington at 395-EYES. That's 395-3937.
Living in Iowa sure means we rely on our furnaces and air conditioners to keep us comfortable all year round. That's why Algona Plumbing and Heating is proud to be your local trusted Armstrong dealer. They're committed to bringing you the highest quality products in heating and cooling, and it doesn't get any better than Armstrong furnaces and air conditioners. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, give them a call at 295-5240 or stop by their Dodge Street location. Live comfortably with Algona Plumbing and Heating.
Home Country Radio presents Golden Bear Football. Brought to you by Iowa State Bank, Northwest Iowa Phone, Joint and Sports Surgeons, Security State Bank, Murphy Farm Services, and the many hometown and home country sports club members you'll hear throughout the game. Now we go live to Home Country Radio Sports Director Tyler Lance with the call.
All right, folks, we're ready for high school football here tonight. Apologize for that break in the action there. Normally I can time the national anthem better than that, but if you had the over on the length of the anthem tonight, you were a winner. Let's get to that Grassmasters Field Condition Report. B needs a turf field here tonight, but remember, the field is 100 yards because this is the Fort Dodge Dodgers field, so they have it taped off. It's a more narrow field in the 8-man game. They've got the markers down on the side, so if you're seeing the 50-yard line on the Fort Dodge field, it's actually the 30-yard line on the 8-man field. You've got to look at those sideline markers, so that could be a tricky thing for the Golden Bear fans watching here on our video stream.
Yeah, it's just a thin line of white tape is actually the sideline. I think you can see that pretty clear on the camera, but it's a little trickier in the stadium. They bring in a different goalpost. They put that on the 10-yard line. So it's a temporary goalpost they bring out for the field here. But all in all, a beautiful stadium here. Like you said, Tyler, it's a turf field. And one of the unspoken differences in these turf fields is that you don't have to worry about the crown on the field. You go around Iowa to all these high school fields. Some fields have a really deep crown, so if you stand in the middle of the field, you're essentially looking downhill to the sidelines. And all fields are a little bit different. Especially if a quarterback like Tate Furch, you got to kind of throw downhill sometimes and get used to that. But this field, very flat, of course. It's perfectly crowned out there. Just a beautiful surface. I ran across the field here. And, boy, it's fun to get on that turf, Tyler. I bet you'd love to run on that turf.
It's a great responsive surface, I can tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, as the Eyes on Thorrington coin toss is going on right now down at the field. Kind of a cool thing for St. Edmond. One of their injured starters, Max Webster, who was supposed to be their starting center, he's down there as one of the St. Edmond coin toss captains. Well, folks, it is breaking news here in the Eyes on Farmington coin toss. Bishop Garrigan has lost a coin toss. St. Edmond wins the toss. They will receive the football, as that'll be your Eyes on Farmington coin toss for tonight. It's 69 degrees outside. That's your Algona Plumbing and Heating game time temperature on a beautiful night here in Fort Dodge.
Well, Tyler, I will take the blame on that coin toss. I jinxed it. I mentioned the streak in the coin toss. It was all my fault. I apologize for that. Boy, the sun, we're looking right into the setting sun. Just a beautiful night for football. We have little Wrigley over here on our right, and both stadium sides are filled up pretty decently for an 8-man size school. A lot of fans out watching this battle between these two Catholic schools in north central Iowa.
Yeah, brilliant sunset coming here tonight in Fort Dodge. A lot of ivy here at Dodger Stadium all around the facility. St. Edmond wears the green uniforms. They have gold numerals outlined in white front and back of the uniforms and the gold football helmets. Bishop Garrigan's wearing the white jerseys tonight. Black numerals front and back with black jersey pants. They have the black Bishop Garrigan helmet with the black face mask. The BG and cross logo intertwined on the side of the uniform. St. Edmond has 2 men back deep to return. One of them is going to be Grant Gallis, so you've got to watch out for that at all times if you're the Bishop Garrigan kicker, C.J. McGregor.
We've talked about this special teams improvement all season. Kick cover, this little unit out here. This is a lot of guys that are getting a chance to play that deserve to be in that starting lineup, but there's not enough room for them. So this is a big challenge for them tonight against the St. Edmond kick return.
Here comes McGregor. Oh, it's a surprise. Onside kick to start the game. Ball is loose. Bishop Garrigan says they have it. The Golden Bears say they have it. What a call to start the game. A little squibber by C.J. McGregor. We're waiting for the signal by the official, and Bishop Garrigan has it. They collect the onside kick to start the game.
I think it was C.J. that also went and got on that ball. It slipped out of the Gales' hands. The first guy that put his hands on it was a St. Edmond Gale player, but it squirted right out of there. He was shocked as much as I was, and then C.J. was right there to pounce on his own kick.
Well, the Bishop Garrigan offense, they're going to start just past midfield at the 35-yard line of St. Edmond, moving left to right on the radio dial. Here comes Tate Furch in the Golden Bear offense. Furch under center. He'll put it into the belly of his running back, McGregor, trying to find some space, and he is running into a swarm of green jerseys. Picked up about 1 yard for Bishop Garrigan, who tried to go up the middle on that first play.
Yeah, that was a little slow developing here. The lineman got off the ball well, but this will be a challenge all night. St. Edmunds, in general, smaller and quick to the Garrigan line, which is going to be bigger and more powerful.
Yeah, the nose guard for St. Edmond is the 5'8", 160-pound Kinnick Henning. Kind of a different look than the offensive line that Bishop Garrigan has that you mentioned, as Furch is in the gun. Furch taking it, looking for blocks, picking his way for the middle. Furch near the first down sticks, fighting for extra yards, being pushed forward by Marceau, and he'll drag a handful of green jerseys past the first down marker inside the 25-yard line of St. Edmond.
Well, it was a big display of force on that play. The Bears plowing it forward. Furch could be a running back. This 8-man game, you got to have a quarterback that can run the ball. First just showed it there, and Schwab was that guy blocking till the very end through the whistle. He was driving his guy downfield. Heard Carter Schwab on the Beck's Player Heart spot this week. It's great to have a Bishop Garrigan player featured in that statewide recognition program.
Yeah, we had Marceau on that earlier in the season as well, so the Golden Bears have been hogging up all the spots on that. Tate Furch is underneath center. He will turn and he'll give it. Here's Marceau running right side, steps out of a tackle. He's across the 20, and he'll pick up about 3 or 4 yards as Bishop Garrigan's inside the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by our local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt.
Now there's Ethan Marceau running hard like Ethan Marceau does, but that play is meant to go off the outside edge, so he has to go laterally before he turns uphill. Not his specialty, as he would like to go straight forward, run some people over.
This Golden Bear offense just under 61 points per game this season, trying to score on their opening drive after getting the onside kick. 2 tights, 2 backs, McGregor and Marceau in the backfield. Marceau takes it, McGregor leads the way. Marceau trying to push the pile. He falls forward to the 15-yard line. He's shy of the first down, but this will be a third and a long one for the Golden Bears.
So these smaller linemen for St. Ed's are, in general, being fairly effective if you consider the dominance of the Garrigan offense thus far this season. Those smaller bodies are getting really low, getting underneath, and shooting underneath Carson Kramer, Carter Schwab, and Lear to get the hand on those legs.
Furch is going to sneak it. He angles towards his left, and he easily has the first down. Good surge up front by the Golden Bear offense. Furch is going to get about 4 or 5 yards on that pickup as Furch took it off the left side.
Boy, when that kind of brute force can get you 4 yards, it's hard not to just think, let's just sneak it until we get some points on the board if it's going to be that easy.
Bishop Garrigan's at the 10-yard line, so folks, for those of you watching on the video stream, if Bishop Garrigan crosses the 20 on the Fort Dodge field here, that will be a touchdown. That is something to get used to here, the end zone between the 20 and the 10-yard line. Furch is in the shotgun, has A couple of tight ends. He's looking towards his right. Marshall leads the way. Furch finds a crease. Furch drives forward. He's shy of the goal line, but he is close. He's to about the 3-yard line as Bishop Garrigan continues to pound the ball forward.
Boy, what you got to like about that run there by Furch is his explosive nature. Once he saw the opening, once he saw that hole form and saw where his blockers were, he just hit the gas. And just a burst of speed there. No fancy side-to-side stuff. Just trying to get to that goal line, which is now only 2 yards away.
St. Edmond brings in big number 79, Jacob Nealon, to try to plug things up in the middle. Bishop Garrigan has the ball on the 2-yard line. Furch has Marceau at the fullback spot. McGregor behind him as well. Rosenmeyer at the left tight end. It's a give to Marceau, banging his way for the middle, fighting, dragging defenders, and taking it into the end zone. 6-0 Bishop Garrigan as Marceau had a man on his back, but it didn't matter. Golden Bears punch it down the field, and they score.
Wow, they didn't win the toss, but the onside kick gives them the ball, and they're the first to score anyway.
So Ethan Marceau goes in for 2 yards, and with 8:44 left in the first quarter, Golden Bears grab the lead, and we'll see if they try to go with a 2-point conversion here, as they've done quite successfully on the season. C.J. McGregor's been that 2-point weapon with 8 conversions on the year, as the ball will be spotted on the left side hash for this one.
Well, whether by choice or by design, that drive, nothing but running that football. Hard-nosed running of the Bishop Garrigan Bears, not a pass yet.
It'll be Furch under center. McGregor's behind him. It's a play fake by Furch. He tries to run away from a defensive lineman, Coleman Hansen. Furch flips it into the end zone, and the pass behind the intended receiver, Rosenmeyer, and it falls incomplete. Koopman was out there in coverage for St. Edmond. It's Bishop Garrigan 6, St. Edmond nothing. A quick timeout on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
It's a 35-yard drive, resulting in a touchdown for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. 6-0 lead over the St. Edmond Gales here in Fort Dodge as C.J. McGregor will kick it away. McGregor approaches, and this time he'll kick it down the field. It's a spiraling kick. It's taken in at the 15-yard line, returned by Hint across the 20, 25-30. Hint spins forward, and he's across the 32-yard line. Nice run back by the St. Edmond tailback.
Boy, already the field an 8-man, 80 yards long, and then you get a good run back like that, and immediately you get the field position in your favor. We see that week after week here in the 8-man game, how important that kickoff field position is, because now the Gales are almost just a few yards short of midfield.
And watch number 6. He is split out to the left, covered by Michael Joyce. That number 6 is Grant Gallus, who already has 80 yards receiving this year and got the Golden Bears for a couple touchdowns last year. Hint goes in motion. He comes to the near side of the field, and slicing in to make the stop is Tate Furch. He came in like a missile and took Hint's legs out for a 1-yard loss.
Just a fantastic ability by Furch to wrap up. He put a good shoulder into his legs, knocked him backwards, and then had the wherewithal to snag an ankle and make sure he held him to the ground. Just a great closing speed there by Furch.
Ball's on the left side hash, the 30-yard line. As St. Edmond looks down the field, they move right to left on the radio dial. Swisher comes out in the pistol, 1 man behind him. 2 receivers split out to the right. He will motion Hint out to the right as Swisher's back to throw. Clean pocket. Now he tries to roll right. Besh contains him. It's a flip back to the left side. Caught by Gallus at the line of scrimmage, but he's contained along the sideline. St. Edmond tried to throw it back against the grain that time, but Bishop Garrigan stayed disciplined, and Gallus had nowhere to run.
Joyce and Furch both combined on that tackle. They had plenty of time to get over that, as it was the only place the quarterback could throw. I'm very impressed the quarterback was able to complete that pass. He did a nice job just getting that ball close to the original line of scrimmage.
Gales averaging 40 points per game this season. Swisher coming into today, 22 out of 31 through the air. He's thrown 7 touchdowns. He's rushed for 2. This time Gallus will go slot right for St. Edmond. Kinnick Henning will come out to the left side. Looks like he's ready to motion. Kinnick Henning goes right to left, and flags all over the field before the play. A false start on St. Edmond.
Now, Tyler, you probably already mentioned this in the pregame while I was racing to get here, but I believe, did I hear correctly that St. Ed's did not play a full game last Friday night?
That is correct. They played until halftime, leading 36-0 over Remsen St. Mary's. Then Remsen St. Mary's ran out of healthy players as the game was forfeited after that.
I see, but clearly in that one half, 36 points. This team can put up some points, but what a defense by Bishop Garrigan.
They certainly can. Also scored 64 against Newell Fonda in that Week 2 win, 64-28 in favor of the Gales. Heading in motion, Swisher throws, looks near side of the field. He's got a man open, and big hit along the sideline by Furch, but hanging on to the ball was Jacob Koopman. He picks up the first down on a 3rd and 17, and Koopman's a little banged up there after that huge hit.
Yeah, Furch has come to hit some people tonight. He was running the ball hard, running people over, and on defense, he's made 2 big hits here. Koopman slow to get up. He is going to go back to the huddle, but I suspect he's going to have to go through some concussion protocol when he gets over there.
That was a big boy catch right there, hanging on through that contact.
Yeah, he held on to that. He took a pop from Furch right on the sideline, but he was, of course, trying to pay attention to where his feet were, wasn't looking for the guy ready to hit him.
Here's motion by Hint. He'll take it running towards the wide side of the field to the right. Jumps over a man trying to fight forward. He stays vertical, and Besh finally topples the pile. He will get across the Bishop Garrigan 35-yard line and pick up about 3 yards on the first down carry.
Some agile running there by the running back. Carter McGregor got in the backfield and came launching at him like a missile and comes up holding his shoulder a little bit. But that running back was able to kind of hurdle him and stay on his feet. Bears good pursuit there, but someone over there on the right side for the Gales can block. They put a good lick on our defensive end.
3 receivers to the left. That's the wide side of the field as St. Edmond has the ball right side hash. Swisher flings it out near side looking for Gallus. Gallus trying to make a man miss, and he is tripped up on a great tackle. Getting in there to make the stop was Michael Joyce for Bishop Garrigan, and Gallus only picks up 1.
Boy, they thought they had Michael Joyce blocked. Number 33 for the Gales really thought he had a good block on Joyce, but it was like blocking a wet noodle, and Joyce just kind of slipped away from him.
And there was also an illegal motion on St. Edmond. We can hear the announcement as the officials are mic'd up here at the Dodger Stadium complex, which is a great addition for us broadcasters trying to figure out the penalty Bishop Garrigan will accept and back St. Edmond up to a second and about 11.
Well, I guess I'm not too surprised because they got a lot of motion going on about every single play the Gales run. They send someone in motion, and I feel for the linemen because they're the ones that have to make sure they time that snap. The center, who you said they've got an injured center, so this is their backup center taking over for the season?
That is Nealand, their backup center, who replaces Max Webster in the lineup. Swisher's back to throw, big time pressure. He lobs it near side to Hint, trying to make a man miss. And Marceau with a great open field tackle. Spins Hint down by the legs. He picks up 1 yard to the 39-yard line, and it's 3rd and 11.
Now, if Marceau doesn't sniff out that screen, or maybe it was the defensive positioning they had that Coach Patterson put out there, but Marceau was left alone. And you can't leave that guy alone. But if he doesn't sniff out that screen, if he just goes in for the run, or if he doesn't read, that's a huge gain, maybe a touchdown for St. Edmunds. But Ethan Marceau, well coached, well disciplined. He knew it was a screen pass that whole way because he made his linebacker reads. He didn't just suck in and go for the big sack or the big glory hit in the middle of the pile.
This time a more condensed formation for St. Edmond. 3rd down and 11 from the 39-yard line. Swisher fakes the pitch. He wants to take a shot. Now he pulls it down and runs left. Schwab has him in his sights, and he runs Swisher into the sideline. He'll get past the line of scrimmage, but that deep shot play did not develop for St. Edmond, and it's 4th down, and we'll call it about 12 yards to go.
Now you're in that tight spot in 8-man football. You got to go for it. You could try to pin him deep if you want, but even just a meager run back, you don't really gain much on a punt. So most teams will like to go for it in this type of field position.
Ball's at midfield right now, the 40-yard line. That is the one thing on this field, the 40-yard line on our left side. That is the true 40-yard line, as Swisher will be alone in the shotgun. He'll have Trey Bunch to the right with Gallus alone to the left, the near side of the field. Ball's on the left side hash. Bishop Garrigan rushes just 2. Back to throw is Swisher. Clean pocket. He guns it towards the right side. And incomplete. Had a couple men potentially open down there, but an underthrown ball will result in a turnover on downs.
That was a situation where even if the Bears could have intercepted it, they probably don't want to because they probably get better field position if they let that hit the turf and take over on downs there at the 40-yard line, which gives the Bears just a very short field to gain. They got 40 yards here to pay dirt, and the way they've been running the ball, I think we're going to see a steady diet of that.
6:10 left in the first quarter. Bishop Garrigan and St. Edmond meeting in a matchup that goes all the way back to 1959. Golden Bears with an overall 41-23 advantage in the series. Picked up a win in last year's game, 48-22, as Tate Furch threw for 130 yards in that game. Marceau scored 3 touchdowns on the ground as Furch is back to throw. St. Edmond brings pressure. It's a deep shot down the middle, looking for Joyce, and Joyce makes a great contested catch inside that 10-yard line. He had a defender draped all over him, but Joyce was able to beat Koopman for a huge gain.
Joyce gets up, gives the first down signal, the universal first down signal these days. point towards the end zone. Boy, he's just a few yards from the goal here. Furch's first pass of the game is complete, all thanks to Joyce. I thought that was going to sail long or wide, but Michael Joyce with an athletic catch.
A 34-yard completion, Joyce's 9th catch of the season. Bishop Garrigan inside the Red Power red zone. First and goal from the 6 with under 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Furch under center, gives to Marceau. Marceau bangs into a man in the backfield, shakes off of Hansen's tackle. He squirms inside the 5-yard line, gets to about the 3. Hansen thought he had Marceau for a loss, but Marceau was able to surge forward.
Bears go with that double tight end formation. They've got Rosemeyer on the left side, and they've got Miller on the right side, but not the normal Miller. Madden Miller out with a rolled ankle. His little brother, Hayden Miller, the JV tight end, is in there taking his place.
Yeah, Hayden Miller, number 4 in the Bishop Garrigan jersey lineup. Weston Rosemeyer, the other tight end, at number 5 for the Golden Bears. It is second and goal. Ball is down at the 2-yard line right now as the Golden Bears move towards the right. Double tights, 2 backs as well for Bishop Garrigan. Furch under center, gives to Marceau. Marceau trying to finish the drive. He plunges forward and he's into the end zone. 12-0 Golden Bears with 4:59 remaining in the first quarter.
All right, they didn't get that first point conversion. They've had a great season of really successful 2-point attempts and field goal tries, point after attempts. We'll see if they try to go for 2 again. They've been really fond of bringing in C.J. McGregor, running him in a wildcat formation. Has been money the first few games, but tonight they're running their base set offense, looks like, as Furch comes back in. Look for him to keep the ball.
Marceau's 2 touchdowns tonight, number 35 and 36 rushing in his career, as Borman and Joyce both go out to the right. Furch is alone in the shotgun, as Miller on his right side as far as the tight end is concerned. Rosemeyer on the left. Furch wants to run it, looking for space. Furch following the block of Schwab, and he'll walk into the end zone. Schwab pancaked a man on the way there, and Furch will take it in for the 2-point conversion. Bishop Garrigan 14, St. Edmond nothing. 4:59 left in the first on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass for all your glass needs. Think American.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
Bishop Garrigan 14, St. Edmond nothing on a pair of rushing touchdowns by Ethan Marceau. The whole Golden Bears student section doing the jumping jacks with the cheerleaders as it's a squib kick by McGregor, takes a high hop up to the 30-yard line. It's returned towards the right by Henning, heading to the 32-yard line, and there's a flag on the play on that tackle. Carter McGregor had the stop, but that flag came in as he was bringing Henning to the ground.
I think Carter McGregor, even though he made the tackle, I think he might have got held in pursuit from behind. He came up behind the ball carrier. Good speed by Carter McGregor. Well, go ahead, Tyler.
I was just going to say, Beanie, why aren't you doing the jumping jacks with the cheerleaders? Afraid you're going to blow the calf out?
You've got me in a headset with a wire. I'm running the camera here. It's got 3 legs, and you want my 2 legs to do something? There's too many legs over here for me to be jumping jacks. But if you want to know the truth, Tyler, I'm a little bit out of shape.
Oh, man, with all the jumping jacks Bishop Garrigan's cheerleaders are doing this season, that will get you back into shape in a hurry, as this flag will go against Bishop Garrigan instead of St. Edmond in prime position at the 32-yard line of the Golden Bears. Koopman, the tight end, is split out to the left. 2 receivers to the right for Swisher. He'll send Miracle in motion, and the snap is dropped. Swisher picks it up, and he is buried. 2 Golden Bear defenders on top of him as Kramer comes in first, followed by McGregor, and that errant snap sets St. Edmond back past their own 40-yard line.
Boy, they always say if that happens, just fall on the ball, but Cooper thought he could maybe pick it up, but it wasn't working. He's lucky he got away without that fumble, but he did get smacked pretty hard. Had he just fallen on the ball, he could have avoided a smackdown by Moose coming up through the middle there.
That'll be a loss of 11 yards as St. Edmond is back now at their own 37-yard line. 4:21 remaining in the first quarter. Ball still on the right side hash. It's Kramer, Schwab, and McGregor on the Bishop Garrigan defensive line. 2 receivers to the right. Swisher rolls towards the right. He wants to throw back to the left for Koopman. He's got a little space. Can he get a block? He dances. He weaves towards the right side. Now he has a little bit of a convoy. He breaks a tackle. He's across the 35-yard line of Bishop Garrigan. That's a nice gain, but he had to run a long way to get 7 or 8 yards near the initial line of scrimmage.
This Garrigan defense is very tough, but you got to hand it to the St. Ed's offensive design. You can see how against a typical not number 1 ranked team in the state, this offense of theirs really knows how to space the field, use up all the green space they have out there, and really spread people out. You get that happening. If you have athletes like they have, good things will happen. So not surprising they've been able to score some points this season.
And the Gales are averaging 295 yards per game on offense, and that's with one of their games ending at halftime. Swisher's alone in the gun, has Trey punched to the right side. Golden Bears bring pressure. Swisher unloads quickly. Ball's tipped up in the air, and it's almost picked off. It's incomplete. C.J. McGregor couldn't cradle the hands underneath that as the ball will fall incomplete at the 35, and it's 4th down and 13 for the Gales.
I didn't see who the tip was, but I think it was the right tackle for the Bears got in there and tipped that ball up in the air. And boy, CJ really had some good closing speed. I thought there's no way anyone's going to get to that tip ball, but he made a valiant dive, tried to get his arms underneath it.
St. Edmond is in that no man's land once again. The Bishop Garrigan 35-yard line, but a mile to go. 4th and 13. Not a lot of great plays for this. Koopman, the tight end, is split out to the left. Joyce eyes him on defense. 2 receivers to the right. Man in motion out of the slot. Back to throw is Swisher. Swisher throws near side of the field. He has Gallus trying to make a man miss. He jukes. He dives. He lunges forward. And he's close to the first down sticks. It depends on the spot. And he got it. He needed 13. And he will get all the way down to the 21-yard line.
Well, in reference to what you said, Tyler, there's not a lot of plays for that situation, but I guess that is one. But it only works if you have a sensational run by Gallus there. So we casually mentioned earlier that Madden Miller is on the sidelines here. I think he rolled his ankle during pregame warmups. We've got a little injured section of Titan Troyer and Madden Miller down here. But that does change the Bear defense as Miller, great linebacker in that defensive set.
It certainly does. 2 receivers each side of the formation as Koopman motions, or that's Gallus rather. He takes it to the right side, and the Golden Bears will try to hem him in. Got tripped up around the ankles by Furch and got a couple of yards inside the Red Power red zone to the 17.
You know, Furch is having a game. Boy, offensively and defensively, he prevented a touchdown. I know there are ways to go from the goal line, but if he doesn't get those ankles of Gallus, he's going to score with that guy's ability. But Furch really doing a fantastic job of identifying the ball carrier from his safety position or cornerback, wherever he's lined up at, and coming in and making those hits.
Ty Miracle's out to the left. Kinnick heading slot left for St. Edmond with Swisher in the gun. Motioning is Henning. They'll fake to Henning. Swisher throws left and incomplete. That pass was too close to the line of scrimmage there as Miracle had to work back to the ball, and it's 3rd down and 5.
I believe Dalton Cleanse right there on coverage. Even if that catch is made, I think Cleanse was right there to make the hit. He's a young player, seeing some more varsity time. Matt Besh comes out. Carson Kramer goes back in. A lot of guys rotating through. So if we go back to talking about Madden Miller, the linebacker, being out tonight, on most teams, that would be big-time trouble to have one of their best linebackers, best players out. But Garrigan has some depth here in this lineup, and they're going to roll with it.
Gales have 2 downs to get 5 yards. It's 3rd and 5 from the 17-yard line. 14-0 Bishop Garrigan. Here's the motion. Here's the handoff. Running to the near side of the field and being run into the sideline. There's a big hit by the Golden Bears. Hint picked up positive yardage, but not enough, it appears, for the first down. Got a little closer, though. We'll call it 4th and about 2. So there's a lot more plays for, they'll say 4th and 1 now, but there's a lot more plays for 4th and 1 than 4th and 13.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
It's hard to go straight up the middle on this Garrigan defense.
Now the Bears get Cleanse out of there, bring in I'm going to call it the jumbo package. I don't know what coaches call it, but they bring in Matt Besh on the front line. You got Matt Besh, Carson Kramer, Carter Schwab, some big fellas up there if they're going to try to run straight ahead.
4-man line in the gun of Swisher. A couple men to the left. Swisher was surprised by the snap. There's trouble in the backfield. Swisher trying to run away. He's going to throw, and it's incomplete into the sideline. Swisher, Beanie, did not look like he was ready for that snap. Everything off target on that play for St. Edmond.
Oh boy, he I don't think that's where the ball wanted to go. And then he, with the unexpected snap, he bobbled it. And then Matt Besh was in there like a dart, and he had to run for his life. And Besh, the lineman, was just running him down in hot pursuit, and he just threw it away. It's 4th down, like you can just run around, but I guess I wouldn't want to take that hit from Matt Besh either. Live to see the next drive. But boy, that was the best opportunity for the Gales to score by far this game. Will they get another one as the Bear offense takes over?
Yeah, it's a bad feeling. Oh, wait, here comes the ball. Oh, wait, here comes the motion man, too. Now what do? Bad situation there for the Gales. They don't convert on the 4th and 1. Marceau takes the handoff from Furch, trying the left side, and that is plugged up. Coleman Hansen held Marceau up long enough where they said forward progress is over. Maybe half a yard for Marceau.
Where the Bears had an awkward snap of their own there. That almost went over Furch's head, but he jumps up and snags it. I will give the credit to the Gales for slowing down the Bears' running attack. I mean, obviously they've scored twice running the ball, and they haven't been stopped, but the Gales are putting up more of a resistance than other teams thus far this season.
1:25 left in the first quarter. 14-0 Bishop Garrigan. Golden Bears back at their own 14-yard line. Furch takes a low snap, puts it in the belly of Marceau, and he breaks into the open, runs to the official, pinballs to the near side, steps out of a tackle across the 35, drives forward across the 40. What a run by Ethan Marceau, running over Golden Bears and referees and Gales, all on his way to a big pickup.
How do these referees not get hurt more often? Shouldn't they at least wear some sort of helmet out there? Maybe not a full hard helmet, but give those guys like a little rugby padded helmet or something. These officials got Ethan Marceau coming at him. He graciously glanced off the official and looked for a guy with a helmet on that he could hit, and boy, hit them he did.
Yeah, those officials are not quite as well protected as the players with all the padding and helmets. They're in a pretty exposed position there. Ball's at midfield. It's a pitch play left to McGregor. McGregor looking for a seam. He slips, but he keeps his feet. He's across the 35-yard line. He's to the 30, and he picks up about 9 yards on the play with some slippery running.
I think CJ got away with one. I think the Gale players were pointing that his knee was down, and I think he was right. Now the coach is also saying the same thing, but the official didn't see it because it was his inside knee that I think touched the turf, but I'm a long ways too. Tyler, have you ever been out there, even just interviewing players on the sidelines with their helmets on? It's terrifying. Those helmets are weapons, man.
They certainly are. That's why they don't want those helmet-to-helmet hits. Those can pack a punch. 17 seconds remain in the quarter. Bishop Garrigan does have to snap it for at least one more play. Furch will come out underneath center. McGregor's behind him in the backfield. Furch is back to throw. Here comes some pressure. Furch rolling out to the right side. He's going to pull it down. He'll run into the sideline, and he'll pick up about 2 yards as the first quarter comes to an end. So Bishop Garrigan will have the football across midfield. When we come back, start of the second quarter, Bishop Garrigan leading 14-0 on KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
Sponsors of this game broadcast.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Tafe Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eichin Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Two rushing touchdowns so far by Ethan Marceau as Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears lead the St. Edmond Gales 14-0 on KLGZ Home Country Radio. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. Beanie, another good-looking drive underway for the Golden Bears.
Yeah, fantastic drive so far. Tate Furch really leading the team well. Made a good decision on that last play. He's been running the ball hard, and defensively he's been coming up and making big tackles on their specialty players that they have good ones of on St. Ed's. But overall, Furch just showing that experience from the quarterback spot, running, throwing the ball. He can do it all. You know, Garrigan's got a long history. QBs that can run the ball well goes back to, Zach Kibbe, Reese Wadley, all the capacious guys that played that position. There's just a lot of good running quarterbacks here. And Reese, Tate Furch, just yet another one, having a whale of a game here in his senior season.
So the teams flip sides of the field. Bishop Garrigan now moves right to left on the radio dial. They have the ball at the St. Edmond 29-yard line as Furch did get just enough to pick up the first down on that scramble at the end of the first quarter. So ball's on the right side hash. Golden Bears come out. Furch underneath center. He's got one tight end over to his left. Furch takes the snap. He'll give it off to Marceau. Marceau lowers the shoulder, takes some contact, and he lunges forward as he was going down. Picked up some positive yardage across the 25 down to the 24.
Well, if you're playing poker, Marceau has a little bit of a tell. When he's lined up in that single back formation, you can kind of tell when he's going to get the ball or when he's going to set up and block. And he gets this posture where he's already going downhill before the play starts. He's just ready to run over people. And, boy, he just has that power that he just gets through. You are not going to bring him down just mano-y-mano.
Golden Bears will downsize a little bit here. Kramer, who's the extra offensive lineman on that play, comes out. Borman and Joyce, two receivers to the left. The tight end, Rosenmeyer on the right side of the line, Furch in the shotgun. Furch will run it, looking for a block from Marceau. He's through the middle. He's got a seam. Tate Furch sprinting to the end zone, and he's in for a touchdown. 24 yards. The block developed, and Tate Furch, with great vision, takes it in.
Boy, the receivers, Borman and company, went out way wide, and they had to respect that, so they sent one of their tacklers out there, their safety, along with the cornerback, and that left things wide open in the middle. Once Tate got past the linebackers, and of course good blocking by the line up front, they're gone.
So Tate Furch pays it off on the ground, his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, as he's over 200 yards through the first 3+ games on the ground. C.J. McGregor runs onto the field for Bishop Garrigan with 11:11 on the clock in the second quarter. McGregor will be in the gun. He's converted on 8 2-point conversions this season. Graves and Besh are those extra blockers over to the right for the Golden Bears. As McGregor awaits the snap, he takes it and gets past him. He picks it up off the turf. He's trying to run. He reverses field, and he is knocked down deep in the backfield. Taken down by Gallus on the play, and the 2-point conversion does not work for the Golden Bears, as the score will stay 20-0. Well, Beanie, that's one thing that the coaches will point to tomorrow, a snap getting away there on that 2-point conversion.
Well, they're always striving for perfection, but you can never get it. So that's an easy one, yes, for the coaches to say. Who knows what the list of things they're going to do to bring up to their players of what it was. Was it a lack of concentration, getting ahead of yourself? Was it a slippery ball? There's lots of things to blame. And believe me, hanging around modern kids, they're very good at blaming things.
Maybe not the most surprising revelation in the world, but the Golden Bears do get this 20-0 lead with St. Edmond getting the ball back.
You can never go wrong with blaming the turf monster, and I do believe that turf is pretty slick out there right now. You can almost see a sheen on it, and as this temperature drops and having these warm days, that dew point is hit, and on this turf, it gets pretty shiny.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, this could have been a pretty muddy game if we were playing on natural grass tonight, as the ball's kicked away. Taken inside the 5-yard line, returned towards the near side of the field. Koopman looking for space, and Koopman is contained by Borman. He runs him into the sideline at the 15-yard line. Not a good special teams play by Bishop Garrigan.
Oh, excellent kick cover team. Everyone stayed in their lanes. Borman doing his job, gets down there in his lane, runs that ball carrier, just escorts him to the sideline. That is pinning the Gales deep. Now, Tyler, do the Bears wear different shoes? I mean, I know my son, he's not going to get an extra pair of shoes just to play this game on turf.
Don't give him any ideas. He'll be watching this broadcast back and saying, you know what, Dad, I just thought of something. It's hard for me to grasp this turf on rainy nights or when it rained earlier.
It appears that you can wear your regular cleats on this stuff, I think. It looks like everyone's wearing their regular shoes.
Well, St. Edmond will have the ball at the 15-yard line. Gales have moved the ball so far tonight, but they have not finished off drives. Hint goes in motion, takes the handoff from the slot. He's running towards the left side looking for space, and Furch will run him down at the 15-yard line. Boy, Tate Furch is flying around like a missile on defense tonight, and that play will go for a loss of 1.
Boy, he must have some anger against the St. Edmond Gales team. Maybe at the Catholic Choral Festival. I don't know if that's happened yet, but maybe he made some enemies at the Catholic Choral Festival, and he wants to take it out against them because he is having a whale of a game on defense, just all over the field.
Well, these schools have a long history of going up against each other in a lot of sports. Of course, sub-state basketball game last year. Tate Furch, part of that team for the Golden Bears. But big football game here tonight. As Swisher takes a snap. He spun the wrong way, but got the hand off to his back, and Hint spins away from traffic. He's across the 20-yard line, spinning again. He's to the 24-yard line. Boy, that play could have gone bad, but Swisher made like a 180 spin there and still got the hand off to his running back.
Boy, that was all on him. That was all on great running by Hint to gain that yardage to make it 3rd and short. Nice athleticism there. Now, Tyler, did you know Tate Furch could sing as well?
I believe it. He's a multi-dimensional type of guy.
Yeah, he plays the boyfriend in the upcoming musical The Addams Family. That's at Bishop Garrigan. We're going to have to go check that out, listen to him sing.
No doubt. As going in motion to the right is Hint. They'll swing it out to him in the flat. Hint makes the catch, has some space to run, spins away from Rosenmeyer, and then he's planted, but he got the first down. He was stopped by McGregor on the play, but they'll swing it out to the back and pick up the necessary yardage.
Well, this is the kind of game that the defensive linemen get real irritated with. They would just prefer that St. Ed's would run the ball at him so they could hit him and knock him over and tackle him. But every one of these St. Ed's plays is a flare to the outside, a run to the outside, a pitch to the outside, someone in motion. And those defensive guys, they get irritated with all that constant motion.
Yeah, I know Carson Kramer's waiting there in the middle and saying, come on, give me some action here.
Yeah,
but
he just wants them to run straight at him.
We may not see a lot of that for St. Edmond tonight. I would imagine that ball is going to continue to be pushed to the outside of the field. This time it is Gallus going in motion. Swisher's back to throw. He looks towards his left. He guns it over to the 30-yard line, making a man miss, and running is Gallus. He's across the 40, and he's to the 39-yard line. First down pickup for St. Edmond.
Tyler, I'm getting old and my memory is fading. In this matchup in basketball that you mentioned previously, that was a sub-state game, and who won that game?
It was St. Ed's.
So St. Ed's, so there is some vengeance to be had there.
Certainly a lot of players crossing over on both sides playing football and basketball. As ball's at the 38-yard line now of Bishop Garrigan. 1st and 10 for St. Edmond. And a lot of the same players from last year's basketball teams coming back to this year's floor as well, but we'll talk more about that in the winter. Ball's on the left side hash. Another motion man for St. Edmond, taking a handoff and lunging forward. Gallus picks up about 4 yards on the play, down to the 35. With 8:27 remaining in the quarter, they will do everything they can to get the ball in his hands. Last year, Gallus had 6 receiving touchdowns. He had a pick 6. And had a kickoff return against the Bears as well.
Yeah, and they're chewing up some clock. Got a couple first downs under their belts here. They're using up that clock, keeping it out of the Bears' offense. They're already they're behind 20-0. So this game, they need some points on the board any way they can. But just a solid drive. Got to give them some confidence.
St. Edmond in a condensed formation, 2 eligible receivers on both sides. Here's motion again, Swisher running towards his left. Swisher is going to pull it down. He takes it across the 30-yard line, and he tiptoes into the sideline as he saw Tate Furch coming flying in. It'll set up a 3rd down at about 2 for St. Edmond from the 29-yard line.
Boy, there you had another misdirection in the backfield, a fake handoff. Carson Kramer and Carter Schwab were both fighting their way into that backfield just in time to see that ball go outside the formation.
So St. Edmond 3rd down and 2. 7:51 left in the quarter as the ball's on the left hash. Hintz on the left side, Koopman on the right side for St. Edmond. As Bishop Garrigan gets organized defensively, Gallus in motion, Swisher's going to throw. He's going to take a shot down the field, and it's incomplete. Sailed it over Koopman's head as McGregor's out there in coverage. That's a play, Beanie. It's 3rd and 2. You know you're going for it on 4th down, so you're taking a shot play to try to get a big 6 there for St. Ed's.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think this offense is pretty skilled, and I like boy, they've got me guessing. I never know. I can't predict what they're going to do next, and they really spread the field well. Yeah, they take a shot there. Good one to take a shot, but now they got a 4th down situation. They never do a straight drop back pass. The defensive linemen would love to just put their ears back and go in there and get a sack. Haven't had a Hy-Vee sack yet, have we?
Not so far tonight. In motion goes Gallus. Swisher fakes to him. Swisher, he's going to throw it over the middle of the field. He's got Miracle down the seam. Miracle running towards the sideline, and he's going to take it in for a touchdown. 29 yards. And beg your pardon, that was Gallus. Gallus running away from the Garrigan defense on a 4th and 2. Swisher gave him a perfect ball where he could catch and run, and the Gales are on the board.
Boy, just 2 guys making big plays there. That quarterback has done a great job of getting rid of the ball and avoiding sacks. And that was a great pattern and a run after the catch by Gallus, just 2 athletic guys. I'm sure Coach said, hey, those are my 2 athletic guys. Let's put it in their hands, and they got it done for Coach.
2-point conversion for St. Edmond. Score now 20-6. Pistol formation for Swisher as Hint is directly behind him. Hint rolls out to the right side. Here comes Besh for the pressure. Swisher runs left. Swisher has the pass batted down on the 2-point conversion attempt as Rosenmeyer got his hands in the passing lane. So a touchdown for St. Edmond, 29 yards from Ethan Swisher to Grant Gallus. Score now 20-6 Bishop Garrigan on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
When you need cash on the go, there's no need to pay a surcharge fee with MoneyPass. Iowa State Bank is proud to be part of the MoneyPass network of surcharge-free ATMs found nationwide. Look for the green and blue MoneyPass symbol on over 32,000 ATMs across the nation. Or find an ATM near your vacation spot or travel destination at MoneyPass.com. MoneyPass, another way that Iowa State Bank helps people succeed. Member FDIC.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Erpeldine Voigt & Company, CPAs, they're not just about taxes.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Farmer State Bank is proud to be a part of our community. Offices in Algona, Whittemore, and West Bend.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Good Samaritan Society, Algona senior housing and service rooted in God's love.
Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
High Point Land Company, your trusted land partner in Algona. Call 515-320-2491.
Bishop Garrigan 20, St. Edmond 6, as Grant Gallus has his first touchdown of the night. Coleman Hansen to kick left to right on the radio dial for St. Edmond. McGregor and Joyce back deep for Bishop Garrigan. End over run kick booming towards the end zone, and that one is going to go 5 yards deep into the end zone where it's taken by Joyce. And after the touchback, Bishop Garrigan begins their drive with 7:37 left in the quarter.
Well, I think that's the first ball I've seen kicked in the air into the end zone this season for the Bears. So Tyler, Eric Deacon made me aware that Jake Rosemeyer, a longtime teacher and student alumnus of Bishop Garrigan, is now a priest and assigned to the St. Edmond Gales.
Can you believe that? He's stealing them from us.
So
they're taking him away.
So who does he cheer for here? The school he's currently helping work at, or his longtime loyal Bear love?
We might have to bring him up for a halftime interview and ask him as Marceau squeezes past the line of scrimmage. He rumbles forward, and he has a 9-yard pickup, dragging men once again to get positive yardage.
Well, I mean, that's a little bit like you. I know you're Ohio State all the way, but you got to cheer for the Cyclones, too.
Sure. It's easier for me, though. I mean, look, folks, I'm going to be honest. I've got nothing against the Cyclones. If they played Ohio State, it's OHIO all day. Pass to Joyce on the left side, and he dropped it. Joyce had some space there to catch and run, but pass was in and out of his hands.
All right, Tyler, no time for our silly banter. It appears that the Bears are experimenting with a hurry-up offense here. Now with the incomplete pass, they're taking a break, but I wonder if the coaches thought, we have not had many opportunities to run our 2-minute offense because we're always ahead. They might just be coming out here to try to spice it up a little bit, work on their speed game.
3rd down and 1 for the Golden Bears. Marshall's the lone back as Furch is underneath center. Here's Marceau. Great face on the left side. Bulls over a man and has the first down. He went straight through Jacob Koopman, and even Marceau for another punishing run.
Boy, apologies on the camera work there. I knew a big collision was coming, and I took my eyes off the camera screen because I wanted to see Marceau truck that guy, and he did not disappoint.
Who doesn't want to see that, folks? That's football right there.
We don't want to see anyone get hurt, but we also like to see big hits. This is a paradox.
6:52 left in the quarter. Koopman's been the recipient of a couple of big hits tonight. Got popped on offense by Furch when he held on for a big catch, then received that Marceau blow as Marceau runs left side, trying to drive his way forward, but he has stood up. Multiple green jerseys in there as Feevold and Nealon both in there for the stop for St. Edmond. That'll go for a 1-yard pickup.
That time, Carter Schwab, the longtime lineman, kind of comes out of the pile saying, what happened there? Like, the Bears are used to that play going for big yards, not just a 1-yard gain. So they're looking for answers at the sideline.
6:17 in, taking for the Golden Bears. 2nd and 9, ball's at the 34-yard line. Graves, the center, over the top of the football as Furch will come out underneath center. McGregor's behind him in the backfield. He'll fake to McGregor. Furch is back to throw, and he's in trouble. Furch is buried in the backfield, and he's going down. Blanco got in there for St. Edmond. Nealon not far behind him, and Furch will take a big loss on that play.
Well, it'll sound crazy, and Furch will go down in the books as taking a huge loss, but I'm glad he didn't throw that ball because I glanced up and saw great coverage on Joyce, who was deep, and I can't remember. I didn't see. I think it might have been C.J. McGregor deep. But they were covered up well. You don't want to throw a giveaway ball there.
Bishop Garrigan behind the sticks now. 3rd and 18 from their own 25-yard line. Furch alone on the shotgun. Golden Bears will have 4 on the route. Furch back to throw. He steps forward and he'll pull it down. He's across the 30. He's to the 40, looking for space. First down, Tate Furch. He's across the 30-yard line, and he's thrown out of bounds at the 26. It was 3rd and 18, and Tate Furch with a patient run to pick it up.
Well, I think they are trying to throw the ball, work on this 2-minute type offense to kill the clock if they need to, but Furch just saw the seas parted, and he was off to the races. Wow, what a run by Furch there. All those receivers went deep. The cornerbacks and defensive backs all had to go with him, and before they realized what was going on, Furch was 20 yards downfield.
And that can happen sometimes. The defensive linemen get upfield, and then a bunch of people in the pattern, and all of a sudden Tate Furch is in open green turf. Furch running again. Big hole up the middle. Furch across the 20-yard line. He's near the sticks, and he picks up the first down. Furch ripped down at the play at the 15-yard line. Bishop Garrigan in the red power red zone as Koopman makes a stop for St. Edmond.
Well, up 20-6. Bears have 5 minutes to go until half, and when they get there, Furch is gonna need that breather at halftime.
Yeah, he's running quite a bit tonight, making things happen at the legs. Certainly a weapon for the Golden Bear offense as Furch is averaging 10.5 yards per carry on the season.
Oh, I love this formation. I formation for the Bears. Carter McGregor blocking for Ethan Marceau. Here comes the power.
Furch, he'll turn and give to Marceau. Big hole off the right side. Marceau jumps through it. He drives towards the 5-yard line, and he's down at the 3.
Boy, you just got to love that power running right off the right tackle over there. Nate Lear making a big block, sealing the edge, and it was all over after that.
Marceau was able to gallop through the hole and pick up 12 yards. First and goal from the 3 for the Golden Bears. They punched it in so far tonight, twice with Marceau.
Well, you just see Lear, and this time it's Hayden Miller out there on the right side. Just two big bodies.
It'll be a sneak. Bishop Garrigan tries to surge forward. Furch gets a little push, and he's in for a touchdown. Tate Furch, second rushing touchdown of the night, and it's 26-6 Bishop Garrigan. That quarterback sneak, Beanie, has been unbeatable for the Golden Bears over the years.
Boy, they just got that size up front. Doesn't matter which center they have in there. It's been Carson Kramer a lot. Caden Graves gets in there now and then. Then you got Lear on his right and Schwab on his left. Boy, that's just a lot of humanity that can just push forward and get you a couple yards anytime you want.
Bishop Garrigan will try to tack on the 2-point conversion. Shotgun for Tate Furch. Rosenmeyer's tight end on the left side of 2 receivers, Borman and Joyce out to the right. Furch patiently flipping it to Marceau. Throw came in low, but Marceau makes the grab. It's a 2-point conversion as Marceau got wide open, and it's 28-6 Bishop Garrigan. 4:18 left in the second. Here on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
.418 to go until halftime. It's Bishop Garrigan 28 and St. Edmond 6. It's a pair of rushing touchdowns so far for Even Marceau and a pair of rushing touchdowns for Tate Furch. Everyone doing jumping jacks here tonight for the Golden Bears, even my color commentator, Beanie Bodie. We're getting him in on some exercise tonight as well as the Golden Bears continue to pile on the points. It'll be Gage Meyer to kick things away. Meyer kicks a line drive near side of the field. That one is dangerously close to the sideline, and St. Edmond wisely lets it go. Hint was running there to try to pick it up before the Golden Bears got to the ball, but it skitters out of bounds, and the kickoff out of bounds penalty will give St. Edmond some solid starting field position.
That ball hit at the hash marks. Looked like it had no problem staying inbounds, but it just took a wicked spin. Kept spinning itself towards the sidelines. So we've seen an onside kick to lead off the game. That was a kick by C.J. McGregor, and he put a couple down there, and now Gage Meyer takes over for some kicking duties. I couldn't believe it when Coach Wadley told me when he asked the team, so who wants to kick this year? Not a lot of volunteers. And I thought, that's the primo job. Who wouldn't want to kick? But Gage Meyer stepped forward, said, I'll kick it, and he's been pretty solid so far. CJ kicked one, has kicked well.
Well, hang on a second here, Beanie.
Another one.
Even Marceau is now coming in to kick off the football for the Golden Bears. The kickoff out of bounds penalty backs Bishop Garrigan up. They'll kick from their own 25-yard line.
I think maybe he just said again, who wants to kick this time, boys?
Here comes Marceau. Marceau booms us away down the field. This is a solid kickoff. Back to the 10-yard line. It's taken in by Hint. Returns up the right side hash. Now weaves towards the left. He's across the 25, and he's to the 30. Good run back by Hint, but even Marceau showing his multi-dimensional talents once again, Beanie.
Yeah, looky what my legs can do as well. They can go this way. He puts a good boot into that.
Well, that kickoff out of bounds, I was going to make the comment before Marceau came in and distracted us all. That was a kick that probably would have stayed in play on a grass field. It kind of dies on the grass, right? But here on this turf, the ball's spinning like a top, and it goes out of bounds.
Yeah, totally right there. One of those differences with the turf here. When the Bulldogs play on turf almost every game, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of 3A games on turf now. Is back to throw is Swisher. Swisher throwing far side of the field to Hint, and a good open field tackle by Michael Joyce. Hint's across the 30-yard line, but that could have been a big pickup if Joyce doesn't make that stop.
Yeah, great closing speed by Joyce as usual. I'm sure it was a difficult week of preparation for the coaches and the players watching film for St. Ed, since they have so many different plays and so many receivers running so many different patterns. Really big challenge for the linebackers and defensive backs to make sure they have everybody covered, whether they're in man or zone. You can see C.J. McGregor pointing, all these defensive backs talking to each other every play to make sure they've got people covered.
It's 2nd down and 6. Handoff on the motion from the slot. Coming to the near side of the field is Gallus. Gallus gets the first down as Clens runs him out of bounds. Gallus picks up about 7 or 8 with 3.5 minutes left to go in the half.
Well, Clens having a game. He's playing a lot more tonight than he usually does. That may be with Miller on the sidelines, of course. They've adjusted it. McGregor's in there every play now. Linebacker CJ and Carter both in every play. Sometimes they would come in and out, but Clenn's running defensive back. It also may be because Clenn's is fast. You know, the fastest kids on the team, and this St. Ed's team is speedy, so you put your speed guys out there.
Clens remains out there in the secondary for Bishop Garrigan on offense. St. Edmond has Trey Bunch to the left. That's the wide side of the field. It's Gallus is solo to the right. Stepping forward is Swisher. He's in trouble, and Carson Kramer's got him. He held onto the jersey, and he rips Swisher down for the first high-V sack of the night for the Golden Bears.
Finally a high-V sack, and I think that's what Carson Kramer, he's pumped up. He's slapping people. He's high-five. He's growling. But, boy, I think that's what he's happy about. He's like, he's been after all night. He finally got a hold of that guy. He's been chasing him, and finally gets him to the dirt.
12th high-V sack of the season for Bishop Garrigan. Another $25 food pantry sack donated to the Sioux County Food Pantry. And now 2:58 left in the first half. 2nd and 14 for St. Edmond. Gallus motions towards the wide side of the field. Swisher's back to throw. He's stepping away from pressure. He's in trouble again. And Carter Schwab gives him a bear hug. It's a 1-yard loss, and it's back-to-back sacks by Bishop Garrigan.
Bishop Garrigan calling timeout.
They're going to try to save some time to get the football back. 2:41 left in the first half. We'll keep it right here as Carter Schwab has his 4th sack of the season for the Golden Bears. Well, that's the problem, Beanie. Sometimes as a quarterback, you try to escape, you try to step forward, but Golden Bears, they collapse the pocket, then you can't escape outside either. There's just not a lot of room to roam. You almost have to either throw the ball or just eat it and take a sack.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you just got to preserve the ball, and I know it just drives people nuts when you're watching football on Saturday or Sunday and you see your favorite team, you see that quarterback take a sack, and it just drives you nuts. But sometimes you can't see the whole field, and if you don't see that the quarterback is seeing nowhere to go with the ball, and they just have to eat it and take care of the ball for their team. So Bishop Garrigan, all the coaches all at once realized, hey, we want to save some clock here, and they all immediately wanted to call timeout. So my question, Tyler, is in basketball we see this all the time. You know, the referees will only listen to the head coach because you don't want to give a timeout unless they really want it. So I wonder if it's the same way in football. Are they waiting for Coach Wadley to say he wants the timeout? Because, these sometimes seconds are real important.
That's a good point. I mean, I've seen during 2-minute drives on the field, sometimes the player who catches the ball will get up and immediately call a timeout. So I'm sure it's discretionary for the officials, but Coach Wadley has the ultimate say. St. Edmond has the ball out of the timeout. 3rd down and 16 to go. Gales at their own 35. Golden Bears rush 2. Swisher lobs it left side, looking to make something happen, and that ball's near the sideline and incomplete. Jumping in front was Tate Furch as he almost intercepted it. He was in coverage there again. Grant Gallus, and it's 4th and 16.
So, Tyler, I know you're so much younger than me, I know, but you're such a good student of sports history. And, of course, the Fab Five, when Chris Webber called a timeout and pretty much gave away the Final Four game. Is there equivalent in football if you call a timeout and don't have any? I wonder what happens.
Yeah, I believe it's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Yardage penalty.
Exactly, yeah, if you call a timeout and don't have one. So the punter for St. Edmond will be Coleman Hansen. Michael Joyce back to return for Bishop Garrigan as Hansen boots it away. Joyce telling everyone to stay away from the football. It'll bounce to the 20-yard line and take a friendly Bishop Garrigan roll. The Gales will dive on top of it at the 24, and Bishop Garrigan has 2:34 plus 2 timeouts with which to work.
Well, I heard all the players yelling something. I know all teams have a word to yell that is a signal to run away, stay away from the ball. Joyce puts his hands down and points, and I don't know what their word is. I can't quite pick it up. But, it makes sense. You can't have someone just yelling, stay away from the ball, stay away. That takes too long. You have to have a call.
Well, Bishop Garrigan was able to stay away there and avoid touching the football as Tate Furch comes out. Bishop Garrigan can do another 2-minute type of drive here with Borman and Joyce going out to the right. Tate Furch is in the shotgun. One back on his left hip. That's Marceau. Furch is back to throw. Has a clean pocket. He's going to take a deep shot looking for Joyce. Joyce trying to break free. He leaps up, and he made an unbelievable catch. Joyce inside the 20-yard line, wrestling and grabbing that football away from Hint, who was out there in coverage. He was being grabbed. He was being pulled. He fought through contact and made another fantastic catch.
Wow, just throw it up in the air and let Michael Joyce run under it and go get it. He is fighting for that ball. I got to love that. He doesn't get the ball very much, so when he gets a chance, boy, he's going to take it. Make sure he's the only one that hauled that ball. It was as competitive as a catch, maybe more so than the first one, but 2 balls just battled for by Michael Joyce so far tonight.
How's that for a field-flipping play? Bishop Garrigan, they're at the 16-yard line of St. Edmond in the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. St. Edmond may get another drive here for the Golden Bears score quickly on this one. Furch underneath center. Here comes Marceau on the run. Marceau through the middle, banging his way forward. Not a lot there, as he'll be down to the 12-yard line on a 3-yard pickup. And Bishop Garrigan can now take their time and force St. Edmond to use timeouts if they so choose.
Yeah, the Bears got the ball with 2 minutes, 34 seconds left to go till half. And, boy, in one play, there's about 1:50 left after the Joyce. And they didn't have to run their 2-minute offense anymore, but now they're just methodically taking their time. Marceau comes out. So they're not going with the big, heavy power package that I love so much. They're going with C.J. McGregor in the backfield.
Carter McGregor over to the right. Carson Kramer, an extra lineman to block. Furch gives to C.J. McGregor, and this play is blown up in the backfield. Coleman Hanson buries him back at the 16-yard line for a 4-yard loss. And now a timeout will be called on the field with 1:07 left on the clock. Boy, what a rush into the backfield there by St. Edmond.
This is the kind of play where I guarantee my father, if this was the Minnesota Vikings, would say, someone ought to block that guy. But nobody blocked him coming off the edge. C.J. McGregor got absolutely smoked right after Furch put the ball in his belly. They're really lucky that a fumble didn't occur there because the hit came right in the transfer of the football. So fortunate to get away with that one. So Coach Marty Wathley takes time out, and I'm sure he said the same thing my dad, I'm sure, just said. Who was supposed to block that guy? So I missed assignment on that one.
Well, that was a play for Coleman Hanson, too. You could almost tackle both the quarterback and the running back. You could have taken your pick as to who to take a shot at. I even had to hesitate there to see who had the ball for Bishop Garrigan because Hanson got on top of that quickly. Well, now the Golden Bears gets a little bit trickier. It's 3rd and 13 from the 19-yard line, 1:07 left in the half. And now you're going to have to put the ball in the air. Obviously, St. Edmond will have to try to contain Furch if he tries to run this year, but you get a chunk of this here and set up a manageable 4th down potentially on offense. Furch will motion McGregor. He's winged up on the left side for Bishop Garrigan. Marceau behind him. The run here for Marceau. Marceau, big hole left side. Marceau racing to the end zone. Forget the pass. We'll take the run. Marceau, a 19-yard score, and it's 34-6 Golden Bears.
Well, just as I was criticizing the blocking, it's always easy to notice when blocks don't happen, but let's just give credit to when fantastic blocks happen. You don't always notice the great blocking and tackling. You notice when it doesn't happen, but wow, sensational blocking there. Marceau does the rest. That's that left side of the line. Just sealing things up. Beautiful, beautiful opening there for Marceau to gallop through.
Yeah, Carter Schwab's on that left side of the line for Bishop Garrigan. There have been a lot of open spaces, a lot of green grass around Schwab so far this season, as Bishop Garrigan will go for the 2-point conversion. Furch underneath center. He'll fake to Marceau. He rolls out to the right. Furch looking. He's got a man open in the end zone. Jumping catch by Rosenmeyer, and he was inbounds. Rosenmeyer in that red Fort Dodge end zone makes the catch for the 2-point conversion. It's Bishop Garrigan 36, St. Edmond 6. Back after this timeout on KLGZ and at the Elgona Radio YouTube stream.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Erfelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Fairway, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
A sensational catch by Michael Joyce sets up an Ethan Marceau touchdown, and now Marceau's going to kick it away. A booming kickoff down the field it goes. It's just outside of the end zone as Koopman takes it at the 1-yard line and keeps his feet out. Returns to the near side of the field. He's to the 15, and diving on top of Koopman's back was Carter McGregor to make the stop. Koopman gets out to the 18-yard line, and he is a little banged up after that. Koopman has taken hit after hit tonight for St. Edmond and a little slow to get up here at the end of the first half.
Well, he got his bell rung at the beginning of the game in the first drive for St. Edmunds by Tate Furch, who came in from the defensive back position and knocked him out of bounds. And he got up slow after that, looking pretty woozy. I'm a bit surprised he's still in the game here, but evidently doing well. Another thing doing well is that Garrigan kick covered, Tyler. I'm very impressed with them pinning St. Ed's deep here. They got the onside kick. The player of the game might have to be the Garrigan kick cover team.
Yeah, they're certainly making a case for it. That's such an emphasis for the Golden Bears. We talked about how last year they gave us some big special teams plays early in the season. That really improved as the year went on. As Swisher throws down the middle, and Tate Firch picks it off. He's running to the 20, right side 15. He's the 10, 5, touchdown! Pick 6, Tate Firch, and the Golden Bears are pouring it on here in Fort Dodge.
Oh, there's nothing more fun in football than a pick 6. Oh, not very many guys get a chance to pull that off. Oh, Tate Firch gets one there. What a game he's having.
Tate Firch has scored a couple of touchdowns on the ground, and now he'll take one through the air, but by taking it back the other way. Normally a quarterback doesn't like to hear the words pick 6, but when you play both ways, including in the secondary like Tate Firch, you don't mind it so much. Gage Meyer will kick the extra point for Bishop Garrigan. As Tate Firch is the holder. Snap is good, and a flag before the play. Play got blown dead by the official.
Movement on Garrigan there on the, I think, the left side. And I think the ball did go through, so they'll definitely take that penalty. Oh, it was on the defense.
Encroachment on St. Edmond.
Half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
So Bishop Garrigan, they will elect to continue to kick it here, but the ball will be moved half the distance to the goal line with a 42-6 lead. So Tate Firch will slide up a little bit, as will Gage Meyer. Snap is put down by Firch, and Meyer kicks the one a little bit higher, and it is through the uprights. Good. 43-6 Bishop Garrigan, as we'll keep it here. 46 seconds remaining in the half. A pick 6 by the Bishop Garrigan defense. Turnover-wise, it's their 8th forced turnover this season. And the secondary, Beanie's been a big strength. We've seen 3 interceptions by Michael Joyce so far. Tate Firch matching him. That's his 3rd pick of the season as well.
Yeah, boy. That ball, the quarterback for St. Ed's had a receiver right there, but the receiver didn't look in time, went right over him, and perfectly thrown to Tate Firch there, who looked back just in time. He was just making sure no one was going to get beat deep. You know, we're almost to the second half here. They know St. Ed's is going to go deep. I know they're in there just trying to prevent the big pass. They didn't plan on getting a pick 6, but that was fun.
Here's Ethan Marceau putting that big right leg into the football. He'll kick it over Hint's head, and it just goes into the end zone. Beanie, that ball nearly died at the 1-yard line, but fortunately for St. Edmond, it skittered into that red end zone of the Fort Dodge colors.
Well, that's 3 kicks in a row for Marceau, all pretty consistent there. So he better watch it. He might end up getting stuck with that job that no one wants to do. Except Gage Meyer. Put that guy in there. He wants to do that job.
You wouldn't guess that no one wants to do that job. We had C.J. McGregor kicking the onside kick to start the game. Gage Meyer going for the PAT. Marceau doing these kickoffs. If I didn't know what you just told me, Beanie, I would think that everyone was trying to kick for Bishop Garrigan.
Well, you do know I love the dramatics, Tyler.
Ethan Swisher has the ball for St. Edmond. Their quarterback at the 15-yard line, as it'll be a handoff running right side. Big open space for Kinnick Henning. Henning past the first down sticks. He's across the 30-yard line, ridden down by Marceau, but a big 16-yard pickup on the first down carry.
Well, with a name like Kinnick, you kind of have to be a football player, I believe.
One would imagine. I would guess Kinnick Henning's parents are probably more fond of Iowa City than they are of Ames, as Swisher hurries up. Almost turned the wrong way. He keeps the ball. He runs left side. He's across the 35. He's to the 36. Once again, either the running back was on the wrong side or Swisher was turning the wrong way, but turned it into a positive gain.
Yeah, not the intended play, but coach might want to write that one in their playbook. Just a spin out, misdirection by the quarterback, and let him take off. He's one of your skill players. Let him go with it.
9 seconds left in the half. Spinning again to Swisher. He lobs it over to the left. He's got a man open. Hint across the 30-yard line. Hint into the sideline with 1 second left. We'll see what the officials say. There was 1 second left when he went out of bounds. They may just say, go off the field. The officials will let that final second go off the clock. They'll say he did not get out of bounds in time, and the first half comes to an end. After the Tate Firch pick 6, Bishop Garrigan takes a 43-6 lead, as it's been all Golden Bears here in Fort Dodge. We'll step aside for a timeout, get your halftime coverage, including the Murphy Realty Management first half recap, Algona Municipal Utilities, you make the call, all coming up on KLGZ.
That's it for the first half of play. Now get set for the Edward Jones halftime show featuring Algona Municipal Utilities. You make the call. And the Murphy Realty and Management first half recap. Your Edward Jones representatives are Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Member SIPC.
Safe and affordable housing. Those are words we like to hear. And Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides just that. With properties in Algona and several surrounding counties, Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides safe and affordable apartments at a time when everyone could really use it. They pride themselves as a local entity that aims to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Give them a call at 515-295-2927 or stop in their office located at 208 East State Street in Algona. This institution is an equal housing opportunity provider.
It's time for your Murphy Realty and Management first half recap as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears lead the St. Edmond Gales 43-6. Our halftime report here is brought to you by your Edward Jones representatives, Bruce Keith, Mackenzie Jorgensen, Jerry Sokup, and Brady Ross. Scoring-wise, Bishop Garrigan got it started on their first drive, following an onside kick to begin the game by C.J. McGregor. Golden Bears would recover the onside kick. They would drive 35 yards down the field, capitalized by a 2-yard rushing touchdown from Ethan Marceau with 8:44 left in the first. After that, Bishop Garrigan scored again on their second drive, the exact same way, another Marceau 2-yard rush with 4:59 left in quarter one, giving the Golden Bears a 14-0 lead. After that, we moved to the second quarter. Tate Furch with one of his bigger runs of the night, a 24-yard pickup as he ran it in for the touchdown, and Bishop Garrigan had the first three scores of the game, 20-0 Golden Bears with 11:11 remaining in the second quarter. After that, St. Edmond scored their only points of the half as Ethan Swisher ripped the ball up the seam to his wide receiver Grant Gallus, who took it in 29 yards for the Gales' only score with 7:37 remaining in the second quarter. After that, Tate Furch took it in from 2 yards out. A big quarterback sneak by the Golden Bears, some great push up front as Furch scored a 4:18 left in the half. Ethan Marceau would add a 19-yard touchdown run of 1:07 remaining, and then Furch with a pick six right before halftime. 46 seconds remaining in the half, and Furch running in the pick six, giving the Golden Bears this 43-6 lead over the St. Edmond Gales. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. Beanie, I never know where to start with these halftime recaps because the Golden Bears, they've done so much right in the first half of games this season. They put teams away early, and they've got a big lead on the Gales right now, up 43-6. But let's start with the defense. Let's give those guys a little love. St. Edmond, so much motion on offense, so much quarterbacks rolling one way and then throwing back the other way, so much trying to get guys one-on-one in open space. But that open field tackling, good for the Golden Bears. The discipline, good as well. 2 first-half sacks, the pick six. A lot of positive things defensively against a team that could be very explosive on offense.
Yeah, I will say the difficult part of this game was preparing for it against this St. Ed's offense. Some offense that versatile, it's tough to just key on one player or key on one formation, and they move the ball all over the place. At least sometimes teams will give you a strong side. For example, you see their giant linemen lining up over here, you kind of know that's where they're going to run it. But St. Ed's doesn't really tip anything like that. And so a lot of preparation put into this game during the week, I'm sure. And then, of course, things go wonky when your linebacker gets hurt in the pregame warm-ups. Miller was all ready to go and apparently just rolled his ankle in the pregame warm-ups or something. And then he suddenly is instantly unavailable, and then you've got to work on the fly. And I think we've seen Dalton Klintz come in there and do a nice job playing defensive back, and McGregor moves up to linebacker. So they've got some depth there, but let's hope Miller's okay, because that defense that you're starting off with, they definitely are stronger with that guy in there in the linebacker spot. But to your point, Tyler, they really flew to the ball well. Tate Furch come off the ball in that first series and really laid some smack on the St. Edmond Gales. There was some hard hits there by Tate Furch, and he's not always the guy that we look at to deliver those big blows, but boy, he set the tone with a couple big hits.
He most certainly did. A couple of big hits on defense, flying around with a lot of early tackles against St. Edmond. I would again commend the open field tackling of the Golden Bears. A lot of one-on-one opportunities where if you don't make the stop, St. Ed's is getting an extra 10, 20 yards. And against a lot of teams, they probably do that. But Bishop Garrigan, they've tackled really well so far tonight. On the offensive side, Beanie, boy, Michael Joyce made two of the best catches we've seen this season. A couple one-on-one coverage, deep balls thrown by Tate Furch. And frankly, on both, I thought pass interference could have been called on the defense. But Joyce fought through contact, made a couple of 20-plus yard catches, and those explosive plays really set up the Golden Bear offense well.
That is something new to high school football, the knowledge of the game. With so much football on TV, all these kids see how the D-backs and the receivers can push and shove each other and basically how much they can get away with. Boy, it's hard to realize how little football I watched when I was a kid, but Tyler, I was lucky if I saw a game. You know, like it wasn't on one of the 3 channels we got. Rarely was there football game on. You never saw the team you liked. And but these kids have watched so much football. They've watched so much film during the week of their opponent, which in the past you never got to see. Something that technology has really done to change the game. Kids like watch their idols on TV and then they play like them. And Michael Joyce was doing that there. You know, you hear kids all day in the playground talking about mossing somebody. You got mossed. And that is what they live for. So Michael Joyce had a chance to do it today when it actually counted, not just silly playground stuff. But, yeah, sensational catches by Joyce. I wasn't kidding earlier when he made that catch. I thought, you really just you're never making a bad call as a coach if you just throw that ball deep with Joyce one-on-one and give him a chance to go up and get the ball. Because his leaping ability, his athleticism, and his speed, more often than not, he's going to get it for you.
Yeah, Joyce atoned for an early drop in the game by making those 2 big contested catches for Bishop Garrigan. He and quarterback Tate Furch, great chemistry throughout the course of the season. Beanie, final thing I'll say, this Bishop Garrigan offensive line, Carter Schwab, Caden Graves, Nate Lear, they've gone off a jumbo package sometimes, bringing in Carson Kramer as an extra offensive lineman. It's been the same story for the first 4 weeks. These guys are dominant up front. You called out Nate Lear earlier on with a crushing block on the right side. Carter Schwab's paved some big holes on the left, and Caden Graves in the center is as steady as they go. So this is another offensive line night where Bishop Garrigan is controlling things up front.
Yeah, and those guys have got experience. I was wondering, you know, we all knew that this team was going to reload after last season's semifinal appearance, but there was guys, I'll specifically mention Caden Graves. Like, for an offensive lineman, he's a fantastic offensive lineman, but he was looking at the summer lineup saying, I'm the smallest guy here. But he might be the smallest lineman, but he does a great job at the center position. And they communicate really well because they've been playing with those teammates. Schwab's been on the line for a couple years now. Kramer stepped right in there, seemingly no problem. Besh has been on the team. These guys know each other well. And I think, and Lear, they all have their own personalities, but I think by now they all know how to space, how to work with each other, how to communicate. And, boy, you can see the coaches, they get real upset when it doesn't go well and as smooth. So even though the Bears are up 43-6, we can see the team huddled over there by the locker room. It's not a happy huddle. They want to see improvement. They didn't like a lot of what they saw there in that half, despite the big lead.
Well, the score right now is 43-6. Bishop Garrigan on top of St. Edmond. That's your first half recap, brought to you by Murphy Realty Management. We'll take another time out on your Edward Jones halftime show and get to Algona Municipal Utilities. You make the call coming up next.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare.
No.
Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keith, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's time for You Make the Call as we test your knowledge of the rules. You Make the Call is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit. Our referee this evening is Tom Claude.
Team A has 1st and 10 at its own 15-yard line. A7 throws the slant to A80, and the pass is intercepted by B42. B42 returns the interception for a touchdown. Prior to the interception, A72 is guilty of holding. Does Team B need to decline the penalty in order for the score to count? You make the call.
Make the call with AMU Telephone Service. AMU local and long-distance telephone provides the call clarity and reliability you expect at an affordable price. Enhance your AMU telephone service with calling features like caller ID and voicemail. When you switch to AMU telephone, you can keep your 295 phone number and you get friendly local customer service. Make the call to AMU to install AMU telephone. Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit.
Under the rules, if an opponent of the scoring team commits a foul other than an unsportsmanlike conduct or a non-player foul during a down in which a touchdown is scored, and there was a change of possession during the down, and such a foul occurs after the change of possession, the scoring team may accept the results of the play and choose enforcement of the penalty on either the try or the subsequent kickoff. As this penalty occurred prior to the interception, Team B would need to decline the penalty in order for the score to count.
And this has been You Make the Call, brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit.
All right, you make the call right there on Home Country Radio KLGZ. It's halftime here in Fort Dodge as Bishop Garrigan leads St. Edmond 43-6. We'll take another timeout. We've got a few minutes to go until the start of the second half, so we'll step aside here for a couple more messages on your Edward Jones halftime report.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
You shouldn't need an advanced degree to figure out how to pay for one. Hi, I'm Brady Ross, your Algona Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help you understand all the options you have when paying for an education. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college or planning for a grandchild to build on a legacy that goes back generations, let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Thank you to those sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
AK's Chrome Kitchen, when you come in, your family.
Algona Freeman Auto Body, we meet by accident.
Algona Livestock Sales every Monday.
Weichert Realty, the 515 agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
All sponsors of this game's broadcast.
More sports club members.
Kimco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Soy City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy service.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill, for wicked good food, drinks, and service. You gotta go to Reeves.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
At the half, it's Bishop Garrigan 43 and St. Edmond 6, as your Edward Jones halftime report has been brought to you by Representatives Bruce Keith, Mackenzie Jorgensen, Jerry Sokup, and Brady Ross. The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears beanie lost a coin toss. The streak is over, so the coin toss didn't go the Golden Bears' way today, but St. Edmond received, so Garrigan gets the ball to start the second half. Golden Bears usually defer when they win that opening coin toss, so not really a whole lot of a change here tonight. We'll see this Golden Bear offense get back out there and try to get to that 50-point mark.
Yeah, boy, they have had such a good streak of coin tosses. I was starting to take them for granted. But they lose the coin toss, get the onside kick, and they're off to the races. But this second half this season has flown by on pretty much every game as we get to this running clock and the second halves fly by. I wonder what the attitude will be like coming out of that locker room. They had such a good first half, spirited first half. The St. Edmond Gales, on the other hand, you know, when you come out of halftime, you get that break and you look at the scoreboard and you see 43-6 and realize chances are very slim that they make a comeback. Do they fold, or are they going to keep playing hard?
That'll be a thing to watch here in the second half as the Golden Bears come back out to take on the St. Edmond Gales in half number 2. Beanie, I'm impressed that you made the trip out here tonight to come to the Fort Dodge and take in this ball game. I would have figured that with my beloved Cleveland Guardians going up against the Minnesota Twins this weekend, you would have ducked me here and avoided the trash talk. What's the deal with that?
Tyler, I thought this was going to be the weekend that you skipped the Golden Bear game to road trip it to watch the Twins Guardians play, because you pencil this into your schedule, you got to figure this is the deciding the NL Central, but alas, neither of our teams. Well, you know what? Your team has a chance. They have a chance. They're only three games back of the winning the division. I thought maybe they'd be lucky to get a wild card. So I guess it does matter. But I will tell you, Tyler, that the Twins do enjoy playing spoiler, even though they're out of it. The Twins just have a penchant for ruining the season of whoever's got a chance. So
I know, that's always the scary thing in sports, right? The team that has nothing to play for but still fights really hard at the end of the season. That could be the Twins or whatever's left of them here this weekend. But I don't think so. I've got confidence in my Guardians, so we'll see how this weekend plays out, Petey.
Hang on, Tyler. 2 weeks ago, you had thrown them out. You said, oh, it's over. I think I have a video recording of you saying that. It's over. They're done for. They do this every year. They get my hopes up, and then they're trash. So don't be.
That was definitely not the phrasing that I used when I said that.
Okay, so I may be paraphrasing, but you were not so hopeful on the Guardians 2 weeks ago. But yes, they have made a resurgence. The mighty, mighty Cleveland. It's the magic of Lake Erie every year.
They've proven everyone wrong, including me, to get back into it. But
now let's talk about those Browns.
Man.
Your other Ohio team.
NBA season's almost here. That's what I have to say about the Browns. The Cavs are almost ready to take the court.
As always, the Vikings fans are hopeful until the season starts.
All right, folks. Well, that's what's going on in the world of professional sports. Meanwhile, in the world of high school sports, the ball will be teed up by Coleman Hansen for St. Edmond. He'll kick left to right on the radio dial as Michael Joyce and C.J. McGregor are the two deep men to return for Bishop Garrigan. Hansen wearing the green jersey of St. Edmond. 43-6 your score at the half.
Wait, Tyler, we have not had a kickoff turned into a touchdown for a long time. I'm kind of feeling it. I feel like the St. Ed's team's going to come out flats and forget to tackle.
Bishop Garrigan already has a defensive touchdown tonight. We'll see if they can add a special teams touchdown as this ball is going to be kicked deep. Joyce is going to stay out of the goal line and take it at the 4. Angles towards the middle. He's across the 15-20. Joyce has a little bit of a crease. He bounces to the outside. He's to the 30, 35-40. It's a foot race. Joyce down the sideline, and there he goes. He's the 20, 10, 5, touchdown. He steps out of Hint's tackle, and Joyce takes it to the house, 86 yards.
Whoa, Michael Joyce showing his ability. His lateral move at midfield where he avoided the tackle and kept accelerating out of that. Impressive speed. He is winded. Boy, that was a quick start to the first half. Schwab wants to jump up and do the chest bump with him. Both those guys had a hard time getting up in the air. They're tired. That was a great run back.
Buy that Powerball ticket, Beanie Bodie. You called your shot.
Once a season. Please point out all the other mistakes.
It'll be Gage Meyer to kick the extra point and try to give Bishop Garrigan a 50-6 lead. The play is blown dead once again before the snap. Second time we've seen a PAT attempt blown dead before the play tonight.
Well, Gage Meyer put it right through the uprights there, but will we do it again?
We're waiting for that PA announcement from the official.
It looks like they're going to back up the Bears a little bit. No, they're going to give it. It's on them. So kick
penalty on St. Edmond. Equipment violation on St. Edmond. One of the players getting called for not having a mouthpiece. So Bishop Garrigan, they decline the penalty and they take the extra point.
Interesting. And that warranted a whistle?
They must have warned them at some point. I usually thought it was a warning first and then a penalty, but must have already had the warning there. So the penalty goes against St. Edmond. Garrigan declines it and they take a 50-6 lead.
Boy, the number of things that the officials have to keep track of. The mouth guards is one that I would not have had on my list of things that they had to watch for. But I did appreciate hearing a college. Oh, you know, it was Kirk Ferentz. I heard him ask the question, what about these players that seemingly don't wear any pads in their pants, no knee pads, and is that a rule? And he said, technically yes, but what constitutes a knee pad or a thigh pad can be just a rolled up piece of tissue that they stick in there.
Gage Meyer kicks it away for Bishop Garrigan. He'll squib it near side of the field, and diving on top of it and recovering the ball is Loftersweiler as he'll take it at the 27-yard line and stop the roll there. Gales will have it at 1:42 and rolling here in this running clock second half. Bishop Garrigan has the first team defense still out there right now against the St. Edmond offense. A Gale offense that had come in averaging 40 points per game, but has been quiet tonight. Besides the 29-yard touchdown pass from Swisher to Gallus, Gales have moved the sticks. They've gotten first downs, but they've stalled on a handful of fourth down attempts so far tonight. And the Golden Bears have been just about unstoppable offensively. Swisher will send Hint over to the right side, and he's going to have an eligible man, Blanco, running off the field here. One of his linemen is going to run off. And then a flag comes in for St. Edmond. So they must have had too many men in the huddle there, and Blanco runs off late.
Yeah, illegal formation. Sometimes they say breaking the huddle without the substitution infraction is what they're going to call it. Well, Tyler, I will say, going back to those uniforms, the uniforms certainly obviously have changed so much from the days of yore, the way the pads fit, and especially the helmets. I picked up one of these players' helmets the other day. They're so remarkably different with the engineering that goes into that thing, and of course, that's why they're so expensive.
Yeah, helmets have changed dramatically over the years, especially. You look at the NFL helmets now, those are unrecognizable compared to 20 years ago. Hint going in motion, he'll take the handoff, he jitterbugs around, and he has nowhere to run. Marceau stood him up immediately, and that play will go for about a 1-yard loss.
I mean, we do so much fundraising at Bishop Garrigan. I know a lot of the listeners and certainly the people sitting down in front of me have all been asked for fundraising, buy this, donate here. And the football team especially, you know, with one of those helmets, the cheaper end helmet is going to be $300+, and the nicer helmet's a lot more. And you don't want to be the coach that's getting your kid the cheap helmets. That's not going to go over well.
Now, if there's one thing that you want to invest in, it is the football helmets, that is for sure. And Swisher's in the gun right now, motioning his Hint. And play is blown dead again with another flag coming from the near side official as St. Edmond false started. Second down and 17 is going to quickly turn into second down and 22.
Well, the only reason I was able to predict that run back by Michael Joyce is because you could just see the St. Ed's players coming out of the locker room. Their body language was not top notch. It looked like they had a hard time getting their engine going, and Joyce got his going off to the races. And now in this drive, boy, are they just telling everybody here that they're done. They're not focused. They're not concentrated. They're making a lot of mistakes, and it's going to be hard for their coach to rally them to stay motivated here.
Yeah, and this is tough, too. You throw so much into the game plan when you see the #1 ranked team in the radio auto poll coming into your field. We've got all these plays drawn up. There's another flag. Play is blown dead again. Delay of game this time on St. Edmond, and it's second down and 27.
Oh, and now they call a timeout. Coaches no doubt are going to come out and say, what is going on, guys? That was the worst series of football in school history. 4 penalties in a row. At least that's what I'd say. I mean, it might not be.
Timeout. So timeout's called by St. Ed's. We'll take a timeout as well while the Gales get organized right here on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
Sponsors of this game broadcast.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Tape Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
St. Edmond comes out of the timeout trying to get organized offensively. Swisher will give it off to the running back, Henning. Henning will run into the waiting arms of Dalton Clens just shy of the 20-yard line. That pickup will go for about 6 yards, and it's third down and 20 for the Gales.
Defense really sharp there. Everyone's doing their job well. Carter McGregor is the defensive end on the left there. Really sets the edge, forces the ball carrier inside so he could meet Dalton Clens, as you so eloquently described. But that's the team doing their job. That defensive end play by McGregor's been solid all night, corralling that quarterback.
Gallus is out to the right for St. Edmond as Henning's on the right hip of Swisher. The give will go to Henning, running left side, looking for space. He almost got into the open there. He bangs his way forward across the 25-yard line as he's out to the 26. He got to almost the initial line of scrimmage, and punt formation time is coming for St. Edmond.
Well, even so, those last two plays for positive yardage, that'll at least please the coach who called that timeout to try to reset his team. There they showed some life there. The Gales up off the mat, ready to keep going.
So Michael Joyce goes back to receive. You know, he's thinking another touchdown return after just taking a kickoff back. 86 yards for a touchdown to begin the half.
Man, I know who I'm thinking about player of the game, and it's not Joyce. But if he runs this back, he's going to become my leader.
So we'll see what Joyce can do here. His heels are back at the 21-yard line. Snap will go to Hansen. Punt almost got blocked by McGregor again. Joyce will stay away from the football as it's into the sideline, inside the 20 at about the 18. Carter McGregor's blocked 2 punts already this year. He nearly just had a third.
Boy, he's so good at knifing into the backfield, that little wrestler. He knows how to get low and move through. So you remember our special teams player of the year last year, Isaac DeLange?
Who could forget?
Who could forget? Well, he just sent me a note answering the question. What Michael Joyce just yelled out there for everyone to get away from the ball, they yell Peter. That's what we couldn't make out that the sideline was yelling. I don't know why Peter, but that means get away. Maybe it's after the Apostles. This is a Catholic school. A lot of Catholics here tonight.
Tate Furch will flip it out to the flat to McGregor. Passes a bit out in front of him and incomplete as Henning gave McGregor a little pop there. Number 22 and number 22 is the pass. Incomplete with 7.5 minutes left in the quarter.
Henning is a stout young player, and he can get low, and he can hit pretty hard. He popped McGregor there. C.J. McGregor, that is. 2 McGregor's got to make sure we differentiate.
Yeah, and Henning's been a contributing player ever since his freshman year for St. Edmond. He was playing significant snaps on varsity that year as well and has been a weapon for them over the years. Going in motion is Borman. Furch will read. He'll keep it himself. Furch has a big hole. There he goes. He's across the 30, 35, 40. Tate Furch in a foot race, and he'll be chased down by Gallus inside the St. Edmond 20-yard line. Tate Furch almost broke it for another touchdown, but he rips off a huge chunk of yardage. Ball's to the 16, and Bishop Garrigan once again moves to the Red Power red zone.
Wow, that was such a strange, slow-developing play in the mesh between Kyle Borman and Tate Furch. Kyle Borman comes from his receiver side, and him and Tate Furch ran step for step, which is hard to do when you got all that uniform on, and the ball is in Kyle Borman's belly, but Tate Furch didn't let go of it for at least 3 steps. And you'd think they just would have tackled both guys, but instead, Borman and Furch do a little dance for a while, and Furch decides, hey, I can see a seam, and he took it and ran.
Yeah, that slow mesh read only works if you've got good blocking up front, which Bishop Garrigan certainly does. Marcel's winged up on the left side. Handoff goes to McGregor, takes it straight for the middle, steps out of a tackle. He's across the 10. He's to the 5, and he tumbles inside the 5-yard line. 12-yard pickup, C.J. McGregor, and it's 1st and goal for the Bishop Garrigan offense.
Well, this 50-6 score isn't going to hold for very long. Bears knocking on the door with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. I like this quarter because the Bears are on the official goal line there on the actual 4-yard line.
Yeah, a little easier to make out than the other side of the field when you've got to remember the end zone is between the 20 and 10, but this side of the field, the end zone is the true end zone. Tate Furch will have Ethan Marshall lined up as the fullback this time with McGregor's the tailback. Hayden Miller and Weston Rosenmeyer, the 2 tight ends. Miller to the right, Rosenmeyer to the left. Furch will give it C.J. McGregor. Huge hole right side. And McGregor could backpedal into the end zone if he wanted to. 56-6 Golden Bears.
Wow, honestly, a wheelchair could have gone through that gap and gotten to the end zone. What blocking on that right side by the defensive line. Nate Lear, Carson Kramer, Marceau, I'm sure was leading in there. I forget about him. Just a huge hole.
Yeah, the tight end on the right side was Hayden Miller, too.
Hayden Miller.
As Gage Meyer will try to tack on the extra point. The kick is through the uprights and good. 57-6 in favor of Bishop Garrigan. We take this timeout with 5:27 remaining in the third on KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
More Sports Club members.
Kimco Tires, they're all you need to know about tires and service.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, insuring our neighbors for over 80 years.
Walker Chiropractic and Wellness, caring for Algona, Soy City, and the surrounding areas with chiropractic, nutritional, and physical therapy service.
Reeves Wicked Good Bar and Grill for wicked good food, drinks, and service. You gotta go to Reeves.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new and used vehicle needs.
Algona Pizza Ranch, there's so much to love.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
big run by Tate Furch eventually sets up a touchdown rush by C.J. McGregor, and Bishop Garrigan leads St. Edmond 57-6 here in Fort Dodge. Gage Meyer kicks it away. It's a wobbling kick on the ground down to the 10-yard line, returned up the middle by Hint. He bounces it outside to the 25, Hint to the 30, reverses field, he's to the 35, shakes away from a tackle, he reverses, he's across the 40, running to the 35-30, he's to the 25-20, gets a block to the 15, he's all the way down to the 10-yard line, but there is a flag on the field, back at the 25. Hint, a great reversal of field, a huge run back, but this may be all for naught after that flag came in.
Well, I was going to say, incredible blocking by St. Ed's on that kick return, and I guess it was exactly that, incredible. Good kick by Gage Meyer, boots that one down here, squibs it.
First down, St. Ed's.
Yeah, Gage Meyer got that kick away. It was returned nicely by Hint, but the flag is laying at the 34-yard line, so it's a 10-yard spot foul, backing St. Edmond up to the 24, but I mean, that's more like a 50-yard penalty of how far he took that down the field.
Yeah, boy, the kick cover team has been doing so well tonight to have them blow their game just there. But all for naught as a penalty on the Gales, and that was a way back early hold there. 5:11 to go in the third quarter, 57-6. Bears up this big. Typically, the reserves would start coming in, but not tonight. The coaches have some things that they want to see that they're not pleased with, that they want to work on. So those starters are still working.
As is the case for St. Edmond, the Gales and the Golden Bears have nearly an identical roster. If St. Edmond only having one less player than Bishop Garrigan, a swisher throws out to the right to Henning. Henning looking for a block. He weaves into the middle of the field. McGregor wraps him up by the waist and drives him backwards. Some slippery running by Henning, who got past the 25-yard line out to the 27, and a medium gain on the first down pickup.
Once again, you see St. Ed's really spreading the field out, making more space for Henning to operate, but good sure tackling there by C.J. McGregor, wrapping him up.
That's a big thing that's been impressive for the Garrigan defense. A lot of reversals of field today by St. Edmond, but when they've got guys going against the grain, there's always a guy there for Bishop Garrigan to make the tackle. You haven't seen that reversal of the field turning into a 30-yard pickup for St. Ed's. It'll be Swisher in the gun. Sends a man in motion again. He'll put it into the belly of his receiver Grant Gallus running the near side as Gallus gets across the 30-yard line. C.J. McGregor makes the stop, and Gallus will set up a third down on about 3 to go for St. Edmond.
You know, and that's just another thing about preparation, making sure your players know they have to stay home is the phrase that coaches use a lot. Don't everyone just chase the ball. Now, I guess it depends on your opponent, because let's say you're playing the West Hancock Eagles. Once that ball starts going direction A, you got to have all 11 helmets.
You can chase the ball against
you
them.
got to chase the ball because you got to have the whole team to bring those guys down. But St. Ed, you better be ready for a switchback, a cutback, even a throwback.
Well, the Gales have third down and manageable. 4 yards to go from the 31-yard line. Swisher has two receivers to the wide side of the field. This ball's on the right side hash. Man motions out of the slot. That's Gallus. Swisher's back to throw against a three-man rush. He'll flip it to the left side, and it's picked off again by Tate Furch. He has it at the 40-yard line. He undercut Ty Miracle, and Tate Furch, his second pick of the game. Tate Furch, 4 interceptions this season, had the pick 6 earlier tonight, and that wobbling ball that hung up in the air was taken advantage of by the Garrigan defensive back.
Gave Tate plenty of time. He can't put that ball up there. Just like in baseball, that ball's got to get down into the grass. Tate had plenty of time to read that, scoot underneath, and outplay the receiver for that. That receiver, I don't think ever saw him coming. Tate sneaks right in front, snatches the ball.
Well, sometimes you tell receivers, as Bishop Garrigan takes a timeout, you've got to attack the football. You can't just wait back there for the ball to come to you, because that's when the defensive back cuts in front of you and gets the pick. Tate Furch was the guy who was attacking the football on that play, and this Bishop Garrigan defense, they continue to force turnovers. So far in the season, 9 forced turnovers by Bishop Garrigan as we play in game number 4.
Well, we know what this timeout is for. This is for the coaches to say, all right, let's figure this out. Who are the reserves that are going to play now, and who's going to be playing later? And they're all lined up. I think the players kind of all know who's who, and the Coach Kesselring right now barking out directions to this offense that's going to go in and try to keep this game going up 57-6.
So the Golden Bears well on their way to a 4-0 start this season, and beating, of course, the Radio Iowa polls had the Golden Bears at the top, but some really good teams in other parts of the state. You've got a really good Iowa Valley team at 3-0 right now, with a couple of ranked wins behind them. They beat Don Bosco and Montezuma, both top 10 teams. Got a really good Woodbine team, a lot of guys back. So Garrigan, not that they're thinking about that, but I'm sure maybe the coaches are taking a look at, who are some of the other good teams in the state? How do we stack up against them? You're looking at final scores of games, who the strength of schedule is, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, who have we played? All right, Jared Graves, the new quarterback.
He'll give to Carter Sink, and Sink is blown up in the backfield. gets stopped by a combination of Blanco and Hansen, and that play will go for a loss of about 3.
So Jared Graves, a freshman, tall, lanky freshman, has grown a lot in the last 2 years. He's going to come over to the sideline and get the call. Seidels is going to go in now here.
Yeah, Seidels will replace Tilgis in the Bishop Garrigan offense. Jack Moeller, another skill position player, in there as well. Leo Snyder has joined the Bishop Garrigan huddle. Usually on that line when the reserves come in, you see a combination of Herrick in there. Besh will take the guard spot for Bishop Garrigan as Graves comes out in the shotgun. He'll send a receiver out to the left. He will read and give it off to Sink, and Sink is contained on the outside, and he is ripped down in the backfield for another loss. He got spun around in a 360 there as Koopman spiraled him down for a 3-yard loss.
Now St. Ed's, after having the varsity defense in there for the first 2 plays, showing them that for 2 plays they can whip up on the JV reserves. They're going to bring in their reserves as well. So 2 plays of dominance by the Gales. Now we'll see what happens with JV versus JV. Here comes Bahanik. Lucas Bahanik runs in the play to Jared Graves, who wears number 81. Tyler, have you ever seen a quarterback wear number 81?
Only tonight. Only this season, I should say, for Bishop Garrigan, as Graves is alone in the shotgun. Schaefer snaps the ball to him. Bishop Garrigan pulls a guard. Graves shimmies. He tries to get loose. A flag comes in the backfield as Graves picks up 2 yards on 3rd and 14. But there is a flag behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah. A hold on Herrick.
Definitely going to be a hold there. That was one of those where you see a guy going for your quarterback, and you know your job's to protect that quarterback, so you just grab onto something so he doesn't get smoked.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty.
Well, the official decided to make a second announcement as well after the first announcement of holding, just to make sure everyone heard him right.
Well, this is a situation the Bears have not been in much. 3rd and 30.
Frankly, I'm kind of surprised St. Edmond accepted that penalty, because Bishop Garrigan would have had 3rd and about 14, 15 yards. Or they would have had 4th and 15, beg your pardon, but now they'll take 3rd and 24 instead.
Now you see Marceau, the team captain over there on the sideline. He's not happy about this. He doesn't want to see these yards going backwards.
Bishop Garrigan's a team that is averaging nearly 400 yards per game offensively this season, as Graves will throw it right side, and he's not on the same page with his wide receiver, Carson Seidels. The ball will sail over his head into the sideline, and it's 4th and 24.
Now you would imagine this will be the first punt for Bishop Garrigan tonight. We'll see who gets to come out and boot that ball away.
I believe Bishop Garrigan's only punted twice this season, Beanie. It's either 2 or 3 times. Their starting punter, Michael Joyce, has only punted once. So we'll see who gets the call here to punt, should Bishop Garrigan decide to go in that direction.
Has Ohio State punted much this year?
Well, they did punt quite a bit against Texas. That was a 14-7 game, but the 2 games since then, not so much.
Well, you know who likes to punt? The Hawkeyes. Excellent punting game.
It's all about field position, baby, as Graves picks up the low snap off the ground. This is going to be a short punt, but it does take a friendly Garrigan roll. It will die down at the 35-yard line of St. Edmond. That ball did not get to Graves cleanly there. It skipped into him, and he just had to get whatever he could on that punt, as the Gales will have 24 seconds and ticking left in the quarter.
Well, there's the answer. Jared Graves does do the punting. Now the defense in there. Hayden Miller's going to play at the nose guard. Matt Besh in there on the line. No, I'm sorry. Hayden Miller's going to be the left defensive end. Matt Besh, nose guard. Leo Snyder out there on the right defensive end.
Noah Schaefer.
Oh, I'm sorry, Noah Schaefer, number 64. Thank you. And then we've got linebackers, Sean Tilgis and Leo Snyder, the linebacker.
Well, for the running clock, the quarter does come to an end. Quarter ends with Bishop Garrigan leading 57-6. We'll move to the 4th on Home Country Radio KLGZ 98.5 FM and AM 1600.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports club members.
American Glass for all your glass needs. Think American.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Down to Earth Tree Service, your local Algona tree service.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
Ed Service Station, service you can trust.
Glenn's Green Thumb, from a small seed, something beautiful will grow.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
Sports club members bringing you this game.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Fort Dodge, and it's all Bishop Garrigan once again. Golden Bears leading St. Edmond 57-6, trying to win their second straight over the Gales in this historic rivalry that dates back to 1959. Gales are on offense right now. It'll be a carry on the first play that gets no yardage here. Very short gain on the play, and it's 2nd down and 10.
I'm really glad you mentioned that history between the Bears and the Gales because it is thick. I mean, these two Catholic schools dating way back in so many sports. I mean, it was the one guaranteed on your schedule every single season, baseball, track, whatever. You were always going to be up against the Gales, and it was always going to be a battle. The only thing we didn't face off against the Gales in is wrestling because the Bears didn't have it. And we do have it now, but we wrestle with the Bulldogs. A couple wrestlers down there on the sidelines.
Thomas Ain is the new quarterback for St. Edmond. He'll take a deep shot down the right side. Carson Seidels almost had the pick there. Seidels had that more measured than the receiver, but the receiver thinking that was a push-off as Laufersweiler was the intended target.
But there was just a lot of great rivalry games over the years, a lot of heavy hitting back in the 11-man days. Not like this isn't hard hitting we've seen tonight, Furch and Marceau laying the wood to guys on the offense and defense. But just big events, the St. Edmond versus Garrigan football game. A lot of fun.
It'll be 3rd down and 10 for St. Edmond. They're at their own 35-yard line right now, 10:47 and rolling on the running clock. Ain sends a man in motion. He will give it on the handoff. Heading towards the right is Garrett Royster, and Royster is blown up in the backfield by Leo Snyder. Royster's going to lose the yard there as Bishop Garrigan contained Royster on the carry.
Handoff went to Garrett Royster.
It'll be 4th down and 12 for St. Edmond. Well, Beanie, you had a part in this rivalry as well back in your football playing glory. Do you have any big memories from facing St. Ed's back in high school?
I have a wonderful memory on this field right here. I called an audible, and Coach Wadley was swearing at me the whole time I was calling the audible, and then it went for a touchdown, and he was so happy with me.
No, yes. One of those plays. The punt is sent away. Thomas Ain will kick it. No one back deep for the Golden Bears. The kick skids at the 15-yard line, takes a lateral roll towards the sideline, and a couple of Gales dive on top of it at the tape on the boundary. 9:55 and taking left. Golden Bears second team offense will come back out. We appreciate everyone following along here in the Algona Radio YouTube stream. For those of you watching at home, this will be the most rigorous game that you have to watch as far as trying to figure out the yardage. Obviously tough here with the 100-yard field converted to an 80-yard field for the 8-man game, but we're trying to stay on top of it as best we can, and hopefully all you viewers and listeners have as well.
Well, we do have some great listeners out there. John Bartolo listening, the official of the century.
He's a regular on these viewerships and listenerships.
He did note that in football, if someone calls timeout and there's no timeouts, they just ignore it.
Ah, okay. Good to know. See, that's why we need officials here watching the game and officials who are good down there on the field as well. There's always a new rule that you don't know or haven't heard of.
That's right. Well, Tyler, it's just me and you. You know, we don't get a call New York when we have want to look at a play once more.
There's no expedited review here in high school football.
No, we don't even have replay. All we know is that number 81's in at quarterback right now. That's Jared Graves, and we got a lot of reserves in. See Sean Tilges back there. I've been watching these guys in the JV level a lot. I'm used to seeing these guys, and they play hard. This will be a fun series, I think.
Sink is the tailback as Graves takes a snap underneath center. He'll give it to his fullback. Plunging through the holes, Tilges across the 30, out to the 32-yard line of some shifty running, and Bishop Garrigan moves the sticks.
Yeah, Tilges is a real powerful little runner. His mom was saying in the stands the other day, he keeps growing out of his pants, but not because his legs are too long. They're getting too strong.
Thomas makes the stop for St. Edmond. It'll be 1st down and 10 from the 33 for Bishop Garrigan with 8:18 and ticking. Well, a couple final non-district games here facing St. Edmond this week, and then Turkey Valley next week for the Golden Bears. They were fortunately able to reschedule a game after the cancellation of the season for Rockford. Graves is underneath center right now. He'll pitch it near side of the field to Sink. Sink running right side. He gets north and south. He gets across the 40-yard line, and he's to the 36, picks up the 1st down. Well, beating in the district St. Edmond's in, a lot for them to figure out. Siouxland Christian already forfeited their season. Remsen St. Mary's in that district. They're going to forfeit the rest of the season or so, I heard, after the situation last week of not having enough players. 2 teams in the same district going down. That could create a few scheduling nightmares for some teams on that side of the schedule.
I'm sure Coach Wadley will tell you about it tomorrow when the coaches show, so listen to that. But he's just so pleased that Turkey Valley had an open date and they were able to schedule some. Otherwise, Garrigan would have an open Friday next Friday, but fortunately Turkey Valley was able to come over and play from the Elkader area. But a lot of 8-man schools having some problems fielding teams this season.
Yeah, and you hate to see it. There have just been a few teams, like you said, who have had to cancel their season. Not enough healthy bodies as Till just surges forward. Strong run on that play to pick up 7 yards.
Yeah, Till just showing that power, auditioning here for that power fullback runner. Bahanic comes in, Sink comes out. So Turkey Valley is going to come next Friday. I think they're a pretty solid team from what I've been told.
They were 3-0 coming into tonight. Now, they do play number 9 ranked Edgewood Colesburg tonight, so a big test for 3-0 Turkey Valley, but they appear to at least be off to a quality start to the season as it'll be hand off to Bahanic coming around the formation, and he's not going anywhere. Bahanic got contained well that time.
Yeah, he came off of his receiver position coming across. Everyone kind of could tell he was going to get the ball, and that line breaks through and get to that one. Well, Tyler, it's not just the 8-man schools that are having problem fielding teams. I talked to a good friend that lives in the Chicago metro area and in the Chicago suburb of Lisle. They have 600 people in their school. Couldn't come up with a football team this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's one of the situations where if you're the coach, you've got to be roaming the halls. Come on, someone's got to come out for football. As it'll be kept by Graves on the read. He lunges forward, and he'll be back to the line of scrimmage. Maddox Sherbrun makes his second straight tackle. It was Sherbrun on that last stop on the tackle of Bahanic, and then he keeps Graves to a gain of 0 yards here to set up 4th and 8. So 57-6, Graves will run to the sideline here with 5:51 left in the fourth quarter.
Now, Garrigan is fortunate. They have a few classes at Garrigan that are including last year's graduating class, that were very skewed onto the male side of the equation. You know, you're anywhere between 30 and 40 kids in a class at Garrigan, and some of these classes had 20 guys in it. But that's not always going to be the case moving forward. But if you have 15 guys in a class, and you need at least 3 or 4 to go out for football.
Graves turns, he evades pressure in the backfield, he flings it, looking for Moeller, and it's incomplete. Sailed it into the sideline. St. Edmond had the immediate penetration that time, and Graves had to run away from traffic. Getting into the backfield was Matthew Crimmins for the Gales, and the Golden Bears coughed it up on downs with 5:10 left.
But what I think has been really good for Bishop Garrigan is their consistency with Coach Wadley. Everyone knows how he does things. They trust getting into that program. You know what you're going to get. These assistant coaches are really do a fantastic job, and the boys like being a part of it. Even if they're not going to be one of those superstar 8 guys out there, they like being on the team. And I can speak for, like my sophomore in particular for sure, is like that, and a lot of boys are like that. They just want to be part of it all.
Almost an errant snap. Ball's bobbling on the ground, and it's recovered by Bishop Garrigan.
Woodrow Wells.
Ain tried to put it into the gut of his running back, Crimmins, and just trouble on the snap there. It was a bit off to the side. Ball was fumbled, and Woodrow Wells, Johnny on the spot, as Bishop Garrigan forces their 3rd turnover tonight.
Yeah, he broke through that defensive line and pounced on that thing, curled it up, gets the fumble recovery. Nice job, Woodrow.
Well, Bishop Garrigan has the ball back with 4:15 remaining, and the Gales have a lot of questions to answer heading into their next game. St. Edmond is going to have an off, at least as of right now, an off week next week because their game against Siouxland Christian was a game that will be forfeited by Siouxland Christian as they are not continuing forward with the football season. But after that, St. Edmond will welcome GTRA for a big showdown. Titans were 3-0 coming into tonight as they took on North Union in tonight's action. Graves is back to throw right now. St. Ed's brings pressure. Graves looking for Moeller down the field, and it's a bit over his head. He was blanketed by Loffersweiler in coverage as Graves and Moeller can't hook up on that deep ball.
Now look at the differences in this 8-player game from year to year. Remsen St. Mary's wins the championship last year and then has to forfeit last week to this St. Edmond Gales team just because of such a drop-off between their graduating seniors and the next man up. Like, I don't think that's going to happen to Garrigan in the foreseeable future because everyone's got so much interest in this football team.
Graves comes out underneath center. He will turn and he'll give. It's a big run by Sink. Sink across the 20. He shakes out of the tackle, and there he goes. Carter Sink to the house. What a broken tackle that time. Great contact balance by Sink, and he'll take it in for 29 yards.
Boy, I thought he was going to stumble, bumble, and fall over, but he really did a great job of being agile, kept his feet, and rolled onto the end zone. What a run by Carter Sink, the sophomore.
63-6 Bishop Garrigan. As they are above their season average in points, came in averaging 61. They've gotten above that 60-point mark in 3 of the 4 games so far, with that 52-0 shutout of Riceville being the only non-60-plus point performance.
So just speculating in the future, looking at that run by Carter Sink, the sophomore, and looking at this couple freshmen out there that are solid, you can kind of predict the next 3 years for Garrigan are going to be pretty solid.
Graves running on the 2-point conversion. He turns the corner, and he'll go in. And he was tackled along the sideline. Boy, that was close to a horse collar as now Graves is down and holding his shoulder.
Yeah,
boy, that was an awkward-looking fall there. If that tackle, one of the plays where the defender kind of slides underneath you there.
Now the official's going to check him out, and I think he would have called the horse collar, but it happened out of bounds. I think he was just kind of hoping it could just nothing bad happen, but sure enough, Graves is on the ground after that horse collar tackle out of bounds. That's unfortunate. We'll see how he is here. Coach Patterson, Coach Wildley, Coach Kesselring, and here comes Coach Mick Elbert over on the scene.
We'll take a timeout while they look at Graves. Back after this with 3:07 left in the fourth on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
Some of the most significant power outages in recent years have been caused by extreme cold weather and severe storms. Whether it's snow, ice, or extreme wind, don't be caught in the dark. At Murphy Farm Services, our top-of-the-line Generac or Cummins generators will automatically power your home in the event of a power loss. Already have a standby generator? Call us today to get on our preventative maintenance list to ensure your machine is running at its maximum efficiency. Contact your local certified ag, electrical, and generator sales and service dealer. Murphy Farm Services, delivering the power you need when you need it.
Well, Graves gets up to his feet and goes to the sideline for Bishop Garrigan as the Golden Bears will kick it away. 3:07 left in this one, leading 65-6 over St. Edmond. Another high exercise night for the cheerleaders who are piling up the jumping jacks. Kickoff is squibbed down the middle of the field. Loffersweiler drops it and picks it back up. He tries to angle towards the middle of the field, and he is contained right there. At least I think that's Loffersweiler anyways. These St. Edmond jerseys beating all of it. It's very tough to tell the difference between 5, 8, and 3. They all look exactly the same.
They're giant numbers, but they're big, giant, blocky numbers. And, they definitely all look like the same. Well, Graves got up kind of twirling his shoulder a little bit. I think when he hit the deck, I just banged up his shoulder. Looks like he's moving around okay now. Maybe got a little bit of a wind knocked out of him, too, when he hit that turf. All right, we'll see if the reserve defense can keep the Gales out of the end zone. The Gales did score on the first team defense on a nice drive there, a couple good runs way back in the first quarter.
Ain is in the shotgun for St. Edmond. He'll give it on the near side. In the backfield, it's Woodrow Wells, and that's going to be a horse collar tackle. There's flags all over the field. Wells ripped down Matthew Crimmins, but all kinds of laundry on that play.
Yeah, and I think there was going to be a hold as well, maybe. I saw one, at least in an area that would suggest a holding. Or maybe everybody was watching that tackle by Woodrow Wells.
And one of the St. Edmond linemen is down on the play as well.
Well, we seem to have a bad stretch of injuries here. There's 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in the game. Can we just call it right now? Can we all agree that this one's over? And let's head to the locker room, boys.
There may be a few Gales that may be in agreement with that statement.
I see Ethan Marceau and Carter McGregor down there on the sideline. You might think they're celebrating. Those guys are doing wrestling drills down there, goofing around while they have a chance.
So it's offsetting penalties. You diagnosed that right, Beanie. There was a holding on St. Edmond. There was also a horse collar on Woodrow Wells. So it's offsetting penalties. Replay it down once all the dust settles on that.
Well, 2 minutes and 14 for these guys to have a little bit of fun, assuming that this injured player is able to get up and walk off on his own accord, and I think he is. He looks to be okay, but take the necessary precautions, take it nice and slow.
Well, we'll take another timeout while they tend to the injury. We'll come back after this message on KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube channel.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Erfelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Fairway, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Maddox Sherbrunnis helps to the St. Edmund sideline with 2:10 left in this one as the Gales will come out of the huddle with a 1st down and 10 against Bishop Garrigan after the offsetting penalties. Ball spotted at the 15-yard line. It'll be pistol formation here for the Gales with Golden Bears leading 65-6. It'll be a handoff to Crimmins, working his way for the middle. Not a lot of room to work with as the tackle's made by Carter Sink on the play.
Tilgis also getting up off the bottom of the pile. Looks like Sink and Tilgis are the ones that have the early running. Tilgis captaining the defense out there. They left the early running on the future linebackers, it appears, at least at this sophomore level.
1:39 left in this one, 2nd down and 8. Don't forget, folks, I'll remind you, as always, over on our sister station, KLGA 92.7, we'll have the Iowa High School Scoreboard Show tonight, coming up in 1 hour at 10 o'clock, as Crimmins tries to stretch to the outside. He's contained by Moeller and brought down for a big loss. That'll go for a loss of about 4 yards, but Iowa High School Scoreboard Show will be tonight. As always, I'll send in my update on this game, and hopefully they'll play it amongst the A-player updates, but you'll hear all the final scores from around the state during that program on 92.7.
Oh, I heard the preview of that. Lots of big games going on around the state tonight. So, Tyler, I hope they get your recap of this blowout in there with all the other scores around the state. But it's a really fun program. I'm really glad the station carries that. I look forward to it on Friday night.
Yeah, it's tough to keep it to a condensed update. I want to call out so many of the Golden Bear players on a night like this because there's a lot of guys who deserve some credit, but you've got to keep it to a pretty brief update in a game like this. As here's a throw to the right side, and it's knocked down, incomplete.
Drew Moeller 2 plays in a row.
Well, Jack Moeller knocked that one down. Older brother Drew is here watching the game, though.
Okay, very good. Well, it is fun to see these families as they go through the system. I have so many family members. I do a lot of missteps when I call people by the older brothers' names, older sisters' names in the other sports.
Well, that's going to be it here for tonight, folks. Final seconds will take off the clock as the play clock and game clock are even, and St. Edmond will not run another play after Jack Moeller knocks that last pass away. So Golden Bears, they come out and roll in the latest chapter of this rivalry, a 65-6 final score over St. Edmond. Bishop Garrigan's now won back-to-back games against the Gales, and overall Bishop Garrigan now leads 42-23 in this rivalry that dates back to 1959. So the number one ranked team in the state, they played like the number one ranked team in the state tonight. They defeat St. Edmond 65-6 as the Gales will drop to 2-2. We'll step aside for a couple of quick messages. When we come back, we will get to your Murphy, or to your Erpling and Voigt player of the game, beg your pardon there, and we'll also recap this one. It's next on KLGZ.
For over 40 years, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons have maintained one mission: to provide excellence in orthopedic care. Their team of 9 physicians offers specialized care in everything from arthroscopic same-day surgery to joint replacement, as well as hand and foot surgery, and have an orthopedic surgeon on call 24/7. Healthcare isn't about appointments, it's about taking care of people, and that's their specialty. Visit Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons on the web at nwiabone.com.
Sports Club members bringing you this game.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Dance Connection and Tumbling by Michelle. Passionate about teaching, creative about dance.
Daylight Donuts open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Albert Electric.
Erpelding Excavating Enterprises. Let them take care of your grading, excavating, and drainage needs.
Fairway, everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Sports Club members bringing you this game. Sponsors of this game broadcast.
Stroman Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Ruhnke Brothers. Experience the Ruhnke Brothers difference for all your auto service and repair needs.
Tafe Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Tom Eichen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT. Thank you to those Sports Club members bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
New Way K&H Co-op, delivering exceptional value through knowledge and innovation.
AK's Chrome Kitchen, when you come in, your family.
Algona Freeman Auto Body, we meet by accident.
Algona Livestock Sales every Monday.
Weichert Realty, the 515 agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Algona Plumbing and Heating, where a good flush beats a full house.
Cotton Gray Farm Management and Land Realty, trusted for farmland service needs since 1960.
All sponsors of this game's broadcast.
Final score tonight in Fort Dodge. Bishop Garrigan 65, St. Edmond 6 on Home Country Radio, KLGZ Algona, 98.5 FM, AM 1600, and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream. I'm Tyler Lance alongside my partner, Beanie Bodie. And Beanie, the tone was set early tonight. In fact, it was set on the opening kickoff. It was a rare coin toss loss by the Golden Bears. St. Edmond elected to receive the kickoff, and Bishop Garrigan, they onside kicked on the opening kickoff. It was recovered by the Golden Bears. They marched down the field. Marceau punches it in for a touchdown, and after that, the route was on as the Golden Bears, they wanted to throw throw the first punch here tonight and set the tone early.
For sure. Boy, I'll be interested to hear maybe in the coaches show you'll ask them if that onside kick was something they saw on film or if they just, before the game, thought, let's give it a shot. But it worked perfectly. St. Ed's actually had their hands on it, but C.J. McGregor was able to pounce on it after it slipped out. And, boy, that did set the tone. I thought the Gales played with a lot of energy right off the bat. Their opening drives looked inspired, and they did score in that first quarter. But as has been the case for the Bears, with all their opponents, just overwhelm their opponents with their athleticism and the power. And now this is something I have not seen the Bears do. All the Gales and the Bear players out there together, chit-chatting, all huddled up together. You know, I do know they both schools got together and went to the Grotto of the Redemption in West Bend on Wednesday. So maybe there was some friendly fire across the line tonight.
Well, certainly at the end of the day, they kind of come together after this rivalry and enjoy a post-game prayer amongst each other's company. But Bishop Garrigan and St. Ed's, it's a long rivalry, but you heard both coaches talk about it in the pregame show. It's a respectful rivalry. Both teams, you know, they play each other a lot. It's hard-fought games on all the sports arenas, basketball, baseball, football, you name it. But at the end of the day, they can kind of come together afterwards as well. And that's part of what makes the rivalry great. You know, it's the longest-running Catholic schools rivalry now in the state that's been uninterrupted. That's something that Coach Wadley told me last week. And this rivalry still is significant. It's even now in the 8-man game in the year 2025.
Well, I guess in that regard, I'm glad. I guess once Garrigan, I think Garrigan went to 8-player before St. Ed's did, or was it the other way around?
It was the same year. They moved in the same year. Yeah.
Well, well, that worked out well. They could keep playing football against each other, but regardless of the other sports, of course, they play against each other as well. And it's pretty fun coming down to this Dodger Stadium. This is a pretty unique facility, the big city down here in the South to play on. So I think the teams, I know I speak for the Bears, I think they really enjoy coming and playing in the stadium.
Yeah, you don't get to play on turf a whole lot unless you make it to the Uni Dome, which, of course, the Golden Bears hope that they do. And if they make it to the Uni Dome, a lot of that will be a credit to the running game. Boy, there were some wide-open holes for the runners to run through tonight. Even Marshall scored his hat trick of touchdowns. Tate Furch made some huge plays in the running game as well as the quarterback. Some on designed runs, some nothing open down the field. I'm going to pull it down and take off. But, boy, the Golden Bear offensive line opened up some massive gaps in the defense, and the Golden Bear runners, they hit it hard.
Yeah, and I think, I guess I wasn't paying super close attention, but I think the offense put some little wrinkles into those running plays, especially the ones that Furch had on tonight. Credit to Coach Kesselring there, Coach Wadley throwing the reins over to Coach Kesselring to call these offensive plays, but they had me guessing tonight. I was not sure what the Bears were going to do in what situations. I, of course, love that power I formation, and it seems like they can pull that out whenever they want, but they have so many different weapons. The ability of Furch at the quarterback position to do everything he does running and throwing the ball. They got blockers up front. They don't have to worry about if they're going to be able to keep out that defensive line front or if they're going to be able to run block. Like this team can do it all. There is no way to cheat against the Bears. There's no one you can key on. You can't just look at their formation and make a good prediction that they're going to go left or right. Their offense really keeps you guessing, and when they don't, they can run you over.
And defensively, Beanie, tonight, Bishop Garrigan, very good assignments. Coaches always say you got to be assignment sound, you've got to be disciplined, and that's especially true tonight against St. Edmond. Motion on almost every play. We saw those jet sweeps, those handoffs from the receiver motioning out of the slot. We saw the quarterback roll one way and then throw back across the field, but the defensive backs stayed disciplined. You saw the interceptions tonight. The linebackers were disciplined as well, and Bishop Garrigan did a good job of setting the edge and not letting St. Edmond turn the corner a whole lot tonight. It's just, there's so many wrinkles to the St. Ed's offense, and it felt like the Golden Bears, they had them pretty well scouted. They knew it was coming, and the guys stuck to their assignments tonight and didn't get greedy on defense.
Yeah, for sure. They stayed in their roles. The defensive ends, as always, fantastic job of setting the corners and setting the edge and not letting that quarterback get out and run loose. But the defensive back play was great. Tate Furch was outstanding tonight defensively. He also set the tone for St. Ed's early in that first offensive drive for St. Ed's. Tate Furch, he hit Koopman real hard on the sideline and kind of woke him up, or I should say put him to sleep for the rest of the night. And then he came like a missile, I think is what your words were, Tyler. You said Furch comes like a missile, and that was exactly right. He came up and made a tackle in the open field on a play where you know that the St. Ed sidelines was saying, hey, we usually score on that play. That's when we get that situation, we score. And they saw right away that wasn't going to happen against the defensive backs for the Bears. Joyce and Furch and company back there can run you down in the open field.
Well, for St. Edmond, obviously you never want to take a loss like this, but the good news for the Gales is you look at their district, I think St. Ed's is a playoff team. You know, top 3 teams in each district make it. They're in a district where GTRA and Kingsley Pearson are the other 2 pretty good teams that are in the playoffs, but you've already got a couple of teams that have forfeited and dropped out of the season in their district. There seems to be a pretty big gap between the top 3 and the rest of the pack, but like I always say for other teams, you're not always going to play a team with a line as dominant as Garrigan or a team as deep as Garrigan on a nightly basis. I can see what St. Edmond's doing, and I think most nights, a lot of the stuff they're doing is going to work pretty well going forward.
I think so too. I think their ability to spread the field is something that the coaching staff for Bishop Garrigan is kind of curious about at the very least. Looking at the way they do things, you see these different offensive all have a unique way of getting their players in good position. You know, you go into this and you already have a sparse lineup in the 8-player, and you have to look at, well, who are the players that we want to get the ball to? And then you got to figure out how. And I think Garrigan's done just a fantastic way to do that. Like, I don't know that everyone predicted Ethan Marceau was going to be running the tailback position. He's had such a successful career as the fullback for the last 2 years. If anyone was going to say that Ethan Marceau was going to move to the tailback, but that's a case where you got to get him the ball, and you find ways to get your best players the ball, and that has been paid off well for Garrigan.
Well, with that, Beanie, it's time to do our final thing for tonight. It's award our Erpelding & Voigt Player of the Game.
Erpelding Voigt & Company CPAs has a simple philosophy about the way they approach their business. Put people before the numbers. Before they can help you plan for a better financial future, they must have a thorough understanding of where you've been and where you want to go. They listen, then ask the important questions to build long-lasting relationships with their clients. They promise to know you and help you. Erpelding Voigt & Company CPAs. They're more than just taxes.
All right, big thank you to Erpelding & Voigt, sponsor for Player of the Game, as each week we choose a different Bishop Garrigan Golden Bear to win the award. Someone who stood out on the gridiron, played a big role in the Bishop Garrigan victory tonight. Beanie, once again, it's a hat trick for Ethan Marceau. He scored the first 2 touchdowns of the night, ended up scoring a third one later on, all in the first half. Some angry running by Marceau. I go back to a play where Marceau ran for a first down, lowered the shoulder, and bowled over Jacob Koopman. Just an excellent run by Marceau. And then defensively, the St. Edmond offense will really stress the linebackers. It'll make you be disciplined with your eyes. Marceau, of course, is ready for the task on that end of the field as well. So this is a pretty normal Ethan Marceau night. Some really physical running, good tackling from the linebacker spot, and certainly a Player of the Game type of performance tonight.
But
wait, there's more as well. We're going to change this from Player of the Game to Players of the Game and add in a second player as well.
I thought you were going to leave me hanging there, Tyler. I was going to be shocked and appalled that you left someone out of this Player of the Game.
Yes. Well, we're also going to go back to a repeat winner, folks, and I'll give you a little inside baseball here. I don't do repeat winners a whole lot. I really like to spread the wealth around, give it to a different guy each game. So if you earn a repeat winner, it means that you left me with no choice but to name you Player of the Game.
And I guess I'm the opposite. I would say if someone is that good and Friday night after Friday night, I'll give it to him every Friday night. I love it.
So at least since it's my final decision, I spread the wealth around, but we're going to do a repeat winner here tonight because, folks, Tate Furch left us no choice but to give to give him another Player of the Game award here for this season. He won in Week 2 against Riceville, and we're going to give him co-Player of the Game with Ethan Marceau. Of course, the thing that stood out most about Furch tonight wasn't as much the offense, and he was good on offense, but the way he played defensively early in the game, setting the tone, flying around on defense for the Golden Bears, laid a huge hit on Jacob Koopman early in the ballgame that said, hey, we're going to play physically tonight. He had a pick 6 later on in the ballgame. That was huge, and then he rushed for 2 touchdowns tonight as well, a 24-yarder and a 2-yarder. So Tate Furch, outstanding game on defense, and then his normal productive self on offense.
Yeah, I see him walking off the field with his family right now. Boy, he had it. In my mind, he had the Player of the Game from the first quarter. Like, he came out and he just lit up the entire Gales team offensively and defensively. He just made all the right decisions on offense, and he just looked like he was a faster Furch tonight. He just looked faster, like this was his game, you know. People play different from week to week, and he had a little something extra today, and it showed. I think he had a whale of a game for sure.
Yeah, a couple of picks tonight for Tate Furch, and then the sideline tackling was great. Usually, when you say sideline to sideline, you're talking about linebackers and them flowing to the ball, but Furch out of the secondary, it felt like on one play, he was all the way to the near side, and then on another play, he's chasing Grant Gallus all the way across the field and containing him. It just seemed, like you said, he was a little bit faster tonight. He was one of the most athletic players on the field, and he was all over the place. You couldn't look away from the number 7 jersey.
Did we dare forget the pick 6? That was electrifying. That was awesome. And here we've got Marceau and Furch, and now I see there goes Michael Joyce off the field with those 2 fantastic catches. It's so hard to pick player of the game, Tyler. We got to have more commercial breaks so we can discuss this further before we give it away. But yeah, a lot of great plays tonight by the Bears, but boy, Furch fantastic, Marceau rock solid.
Yeah, I know. It was great in all 3 phases tonight, folks. Michael Joyce had that kick return touchdown, the 2 great catches, so you could have made an argument for him as well, but we're going to go with Marceau and Furch for today, the co-players of the game, brought to you by Erpeling, Voigt & Company CPAs. As we mentioned, Bishop Garrigan takes on Turkey Valley next week, same time as usual at Conway Field, kickoff at 7 o'clock, pregame coverage beginning at 6. We'll remind you as well, again, Iowa High School Scoreboard Show coming up at 10 o'clock on our sister station, 92.7 FM, KLGA. For my partner, Beanie Bodie, I'm Tyler Lance signing off. This has been a sports production of Home Country Radio. Once again, your final score, Bishop Garrigan 65 and St. Edmond 6.